Hey YouTube, Team RWBY is back together in RWBY Volume 6.
Yeah, and you could watch it only on Rooster Teeth.
For free.
For free?
Nothing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast. This week, the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by MeUndies. In the meantime, I'm Gus.
I'm MeUndies.
I'm Sally.
I'm Blaine.
I'm Beechwood Bernie.
I'm Gus. Welcome back, Sally.
Why-
It's been a while.
Hey, Sally, how
Hello.
you doing?
Hello,
Why modal this time?
Why?
Wait, sometimes
Modal?
MeUndies is the Beechwood stuff. Sometimes it's the modal stuff. Is it the same thing? And it just comes from Beechwood?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you
What is
mentioned
mowed
Beechwood.
down?
You think I'm trying to do some kind of like...
I'm just fascinated by a material that's so soft and comes from a tree. That's all.
But there are soft trees.
What's the softest tree you've ever touched, Gavin?
Balsa wood.
Fuzz tree.
The one that you like milk the bark off.
It's
with the
not a
axes.
tree, but there's
Cork.
a plant called the lamb's ear, and the leaves are covered in the softest hair. It's like stroking a lamb's ear. It's so cute.
I am
Oh,
not
I
used
want-
to intelligence on this podcast.
I want underwear made of lamb's ears.
No, you don't.
Why?
You want fuzzy underwear?
Ooh.
You buy that? Can you imagine how weird it would be to rake those leaves? Do they stay fuzzy when they die and fall off the tree?
I don't actually know.
You know what I learned in Australia last time we were there? I've talked about this in the podcast before, I'm sure. The trees don't lose their leaves; they lose their bark down there. They have trees lose. Okay, now look, Sally just gave me a look. She gave me a very
This is
concerned.
my.
It was a
Are you sure about
bordering on
that?
stern was the look. But people backed me up from Australia when I said this. That their tree chat. If you're from Australia and you're still awake,
They're clearly
or
lying
Just
to
woke
you.
up.
They're probably making that whatever the drop dog thing, whatever the
Drop
hell.
bear?
Telling you there's a
Yeah,
tree that
those
loses its
fucking
bark.
things.
I mean, there are both trees that lose their bark and trees that don't drop their leaves, but I don't think one is a result of the other.
Oh, well, maybe this one in particular just
It
happened
could just
to
be
the Venn
coincidentally,
diagram of that.
yeah.
In Australia, you eat a bowl of tiny spoons with a big Cheerio
And you're upside down.
upside down.
But not according to Bernie. According
Yeah.
to Bernie, they're not upside down.
Stop it, Gavin. Have you recovered nicely from Extra Life?
I have.
Team Nice Dynamite is always a powerhouse at Extra Life.
It was really all of Achievement Hunter this year, but there was the usual stuff. There was pain and vomit, which is what the
Yeah,
kids love.
thanks for that, Gavin. So first thing this morning, I wake up after a very long flight, and someone has tweeted me a gif of you vomiting. That was the first thing I saw this morning.
How was that Gavin's fault?
A, I didn't film that, and B, it was for the kids,
Right?
and D, it looked awesome.
You missed C.
No, I didn't.
Did you not? All right, anyways.
Did you film in slow motion the close up of Michael, like at the vom level?
Yeah.
Like you were on.
So have you seen my clip of Michael?
Yes.
I get under him, so he's
Oh.
like vomiting past me. There's a few splashes, and then I work around, and you can
Did you
kind of
get hit?
like a 360 view of it, 180
like a
view.
cinematography savant.
It's like you're actually there.
Did
That
you
was
get
good.
sprinkled on on your from the vom?
A little bit, yeah.
That was Chad.
It's
This
weird.
is such a nice conversation.
I'm less. There it is.
You know
look.
what you signed up for.
See,
Sally, look away, no.
I'm not. I'm staring into a very bright light and
Are you
hoping that the
an
afterburn.
empathetic vomiter?
I just don't like
Is
vomit.
it empathetic or sympathetic? Which is it?
Sympathetic.
Sympathetic?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, here it
Empathetic is
comes,
like,
look.
oh, I feel bad that you're sick.
That's bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I,
God.
I'm
She's
just gonna
going.
take a sip of my.
It looks like it'll never
Ah.
end.
And then I'm working. I'm working around.
Ugh.
That's
And,
so violent and so much.
Ugh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
We don't have to keep playing it. We don't have to watch it. You
So
know?
having gone through that last year, because I did the gallon challenge as well, and I even though I started throwing up, I went and finished the rest of the gallon, and that was a horrible idea because I was shitting milk. Have you ever shit milk before?
Never, Blaine, never.
It was.
I'm sure you're going to tell us so much more about it as well.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure I have, but
lucky
not
us.
I just-
milk.
I would be on the stream and be like, all right, I'm gonna be right back. And be like, and I'd like run to the bathroom, just like, just shitting milk.
And it would
Well,
just look
speaking of
like
being on
milk.
the stream.
It was like a
Chocolate milk?
no, it was more like a peanut butter milk.
Okay, that's enough of that.
What time
That's
is
enough
it?
of that.
Should we start again?
6 minutes in.
Should we do it again? Roll the intro
Let's
again.
just start over. Like let's start the clean, family friendly version.
Extra Life was fun though. It was hit 1 million really fast.
Yeah.
It felt
It
like.
It did. It was the goal was 1.25 million, and I think we surpassed that with about 4 hours left. So we had a grand total of 1.427
Something
that the
like that.
community raised. for Extra Life, which will go to benefit the Dell Children's Hospital here in Austin. So that was really cool.
It might be the most chaotic
Unbelievable support.
production that we ever do.
The what?
The most chaotic production that we have.
Yeah, I had to miss it this year because I planned a trip like 10 months ago, and I couldn't do anything to get out of the trip. I couldn't modify because there was like 8 other people involved with it or more. And I knew when I booked it, I thought, this could interfere with Extra Life, but I'm going to take a risk and do it. Sure enough, about 5 months ago, we had the date. I got boned.
It was a good year. Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorite Extra Lives. Katie and I did like a workout segment. That was the first, and I like really
people really liked that.
That was popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to see about half of it.
Oh,
so
good.
that was pretty cool. Yeah. It sucked not being here and watching it from afar.
Yeah, there was like a tase baton at one point, which was
I heard
intimidating.
It disappeared.
I think it didn't disappear. I think like someone like hid it from specific people.
Yeah.
So
It's the same as disappearing.
this is true.
Did you go?
No, I missed it.
No Cheese Master this year?
No.
Gus, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like now at this point, Extra Life is being passed to the younger generation? Like, even Matt has this thing that he does at the end. Jeff usually shows up in like the first segment. He usually comes very, very, very early, which I think is a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just not gonna do like.
Well, we have so many people here.
I know,
and
but also it's like I'm at an age where it's like I'm not gonna drink a gallon of milk and throw up all over the place.
Well, I mean, I'm
You're
also
missing out.
too old to be doing that. I'm 30.
You're in the crossover because we make donations. I feel like. But Gavin, you're still doing all the antics and also making really awesome
I'm
donations.
trying to stay as young as possible.
By vomiting
Like
milk.
throwing up on camera every year.
Hey, you got accused of having gray hair a couple weeks ago when you got your hair cut short. Do you
I
have
got
gray hair?
accused. Well, I mean, when it's short, it reflects.
What is it, Sally?
I can confirm there is some salt and pepper going on.
I've always had a few strays there. I guess when it's short, you can see through it into my head and it reflects light, so it looks.
That's weird.
Where it normally
extra
starts
silver.
and the
Not
little
in the beard?
sideburn bits.
When my hair
Yeah.
grows out longer, that's when it's easier to see with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's always shorter.
I'll be a silver fox.
I
one day.
watched.
Being sophisticated.
Did you watch? Sally, you just came over on a plane. Did you watch Mission Impossible Fallout?
No, but everyone else on the plane was. I
So-
was watching much better films. Like,
How dare you?
what was that animated one I watched?
How do you know they're better if you didn't see Fallout?
Because I was watching it on the person in front of me.
Oh.
I don't know.
Fallout was
She's
wicked.
snooping.
What was the anime film you watched?
I'm just trying to think now. I really should remember the name.
Your
when I
name?
mentioned it. Huh?
Is this the
Frozen.
anime? Is it your name? Is it
No.
3D animated or 2D animated?
Oh, I don't remember.
Over the Garden Wall.
Was it like two like cute Japanese
Toy
kids
Story.
and one was in the suburbs and one was in like
Ants.
No,
Prince
it wasn't
Mononoke.
that.
Gone with the
Bug's
Wind.
Life.
The Matrix.
I don't remember.
Animatrix.
It was. I only watched new films, but I can't remember which ones. they were.
DIY with Mr. Blobby.
Who Framed Roger
What?
Rabbit?
It sounds great. Really.
DIY with
Riv-
Mr. Blobby.
Riveting.
That does sound good.
Island of,
wicked.
Isle of Dogs?
Island of Dogs. Island of Dogs. That classic movie, Island of Dogs.
I used to
Oh,
work
no,
in the
it
Isle of
wasn't
Dogs.
animated. It was Mamma Mia, which is so. Mamma Mia 2.
The people are very animated in that
When
movie.
it's so fake and cartoonish and kind of like that kind of saccharine niceness that, it felt animated. It's in that space where you've been flying for about 10, 11 hours already. The concept.
You had a
just
layover too?
merged. I had a
Yeah.
layover as well because you Americans are weird. I had to check out my bags just to check them back in halfway through.
Listen, we're not, you say we're weird. We do have our theater of security.
Oh, it's great.
But when we go to the UK, it's just a different version of it. Like,
Right, like your closed circuit camera monitoring everywhere.
Right.
That's
Or they'll
absurd.
say, oh, you don't have to take off your shoes here, but you have to remove everything else and put everything. At Heathrow, the people that put you through security are the meanest people in the world.
Oh, they were
are
lovely.
awful.
Think
Don't-
about that.
I
They're-
love
they're
it.
Waste
always
their
so nice
time.
there.
Then they got that buttons. They got that row of buttons where it's the happy face, and then the two
Yeah.
kind of nobody ever uses those, and then the unhappy face. I just fucking smack that.
I just never touched them because
I know, right?
I think
I
all
do
the
the back
people
of my-
going through touching them.
Why is there a middle button? Why is there the yellow one? No one has an okay
There's
experience.
two of them too. There's like you're
It's
gonna say
like
I'm kind of unhappy.
1 to 4. What kind of rating system is that?
If there's ever like a 1 to 9 and the middle one's like, in the middle, I always click that one because it's like you're gonna get nothing out of this fucking.
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
They're gonna see you show up.
You'll show them, Blaine.
Okay, well,
I don't know. There's just so many people. It's just like they'll just ignore that one.
yeah, it's true.
That's what I always do on Amazon reviews. When I see it, it's like a bunch of people 5 stars. I used to read the people who do the 1-star reviews, but now I just go for the 2 stars because it's like, what was it? That was this like this person was so discerning. They sat around and thought about it. They go, hate this product, but it was okay. We got 2 stars.
Maybe it arrived on time or something.
Yeah, that was it.
Terrible product, not what I asked for, but at least it arrived next day delivery.
like the
That's the thing I hate is when I read the reviews that take into account factors that have nothing to do with the product. It's like about a story about how someone pissed them off when they were driving home and it made them think about the packet, about the product, and so they give it 2 stars. Like, I don't care. Like, it's its own art form, and some people have mastered it.
Also, why in Amazon they had the verified purchase? Right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like this person who's reviewing it purchased it. Why are you allowed to review products that you haven't purchased on
Well,
Amazon?
Maybe you already own it.
You might want to review it if you bought it somewhere else.
No, but no, you shouldn't be able to do that. You should be able to, only if you bought it from Amazon. It says,
Have you seen Amazon reviews by scientists? I can't remember what the actual Twitter hashtag is, but there are so many things in science where you're like, oh, I just need this item that can do this thing.
Is
And
it
you're
review for science?
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, I need to have like a fine mesh that will filter out some things but not others. I know some kind of food sieve will do that.
Mhm.
And they're actually using it to sieve microbes out of, I don't know, wild dog poo. But we'll often be doing some really weird, obscure thing. And you have to think through what other items that you can just buy on Amazon will do that.
Here's a great one.
Mhm.
Fits neatly inside a lizard's cloaca.
What's
There
a
we go.
cloaca?
Uh,
Don't tell us right away. Let's guess. Gus, what's a cloaca?
I know what it is.
You do?
Is it some sort of pipe?
It's got to be a pipe, right?
It is a sort of pipe. Can you be more specific?
A cloaca. A cloaca.
If
can't
I
break
tell
this
you
down
that there is
etymology.
there is an act called a cloacal kiss,
A cloacal kiss?
Is it in its
Yeah.
mouth?
not the mouth.
Cloacal. I'm trying to think of anything else that begins with clo. Clo.
So you
Poo.
find them in reptiles and birds.
They got like in the they got the craw.
And-
They got
And
the thing
T-Rex
with the-
have one?
what's
Is
the
it
thing
like
with the,
an-
with the
T-Rex
gravel?
probably had a cloaca.
It's an anal gullet.
It is a sphincter
It-
in the intestine.
It's something with eggs. You dropping the eggs?
You
fallopian-
are all kind of correct.
All right.
It's a one hole does everything sort of hole.
All right.
So it's for both feces and for fertilization.
Nice.
So cloacal kiss is another name for bird sex.
Oh, look at that. There's a
The-
picture right there.
The word is from the Latin verb cluo, to cleanse.
To cleanse. Okay.
Dude, I'd love to have lizard skin like on command. It'd be like Colossus the X-Men. You'd just be like,
Except not at all.
Yeah, except you have lizard skin and you're not made
Right.
out of metal.
but I mean, did you
Except
see how
scales.
pretty that looked though? It looked
It
really
looks very
Pretty.
cool.
Is that what you think when you see Colossus? It's just like he's
more
so-
like
It's glowing. It's
shape
pretty.
of
he's so
water.
charismatic. That's how he defeats his enemies.
He's so animated.
Thank God Deadpool 2 is out now. I can ruin the fact that Juggernaut's in that and not. I spoiled that like 2 days after the movie came out.
It's not a big spoiler, is it?
I think it was the biggest
wasn't in any
spoiler
of
that I've
the
ever given on the
trailers.
podcast.
Yeah.
How was Mamma Mia 2?
No, it was also the thing where they hinted that he was in the movie the whole time and you didn't know who it was.
Oh, right.
If you had read any comic books at all, you would have probably been able to guess it might have been him. But I think Deadpool is now the franchise that's like correcting all the heroes they got wrong over the years. Like Deadpool, for
Mhm.
instance, and now Juggernaut. The Juggernaut in the X-Men series is so
It was
fucking-
terrible.
So
You
bad.
don't like Vinnie
it-
Jones?
I
I,
know,
like, I
but
love
I do
Vinnie
like
Jones.
him.
It's that movie X-Men
I'm
3
the
in general
Juggernaut,
was
bitch.
terrible.
can't believe
Is
they
the
put that in.
Juggernaut called Laurie in the UK version?
Laurie?
Because we don't call them juggernauts, we call them lorries.
Really?
Like
What is
a
it?
big truck.
We don't call trucks Juggernauts, though.
Do you not?
No,
Juggernaut
no.
is just like something big.
Yeah, Juggernaut is like a big unstoppable force. I don't think we call it
Oh, I've
anything.
only ever heard it referred to trucks.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Like a big semi truck that's
Mhm.
like, you know.
What is the
big and
definition of
unstoppable.
Juggernaut, Gus?
It is a huge, powerful, and overwhelming force or institution.
Is it not a
Mm.
mythical
Learn something
term?
new every day.
Isn't it a mythical term? Also,
Looking-
birds poop out of it. So that's
It does not appear so.
Do you know that birds don't wee? Fact that I just thought of that I thought might interest you lot.
Well, the
Is
white
it-
bit's wee, isn't it?
In the white bit? Yeah,
Exactly.
it's all
so it's
solid.
uric acid.
oh, okay.
It's a more concentrated form of urine because they don't want to lose that much
Is that
water.
what gout is too? Is it uric acid
It
collecting in joints?
It is because it's got a very spiky crystal shape. So if it forms, then you got these little needle shapes of crystal forming
No.
inside your cells.
Why do that? Why does the body do that? Why that? Like kidney stones? You ever seen a picture of a kidney stone,
I
Gavin?
haven't.
Sizable. Yeah.
You're gonna get one.
Well, I was
No,
thinking
you
I'm
about
gotta
putting
drink
that on
water.
you right
What,
now.
you're going to get a
Sometime
picture
in
of
your
a kidney
life.
stone or you're going to get a kidney stone?
Sometime in your life. You've never had a
That's-
kidney stone or anything?
That's
I drink,
fucked up.
I drink
dude.
a lot of water.
Do you?
I don't drink fizzy drinks. I drink water and alcohol.
Mm.
Beer's fizzy.
Yay.
They look like
Oh,
little
yeah,
meteors.
damn.
They're like they're 'cause they're all jagged. and awful.
I heard it's comparable to giving birth, passing a kidney stone. Is that true?
Well, women get both.
As someone who has had neither, I can tell you. I
From
don't
your
know.
I don't know.
experience, you don't know.
No.
I have no idea.
I can imagine it being very painful. Like
There was-
9 out of 10.
When I was at PAX Australia a couple of years back, I went with Joel, the classic combination of Blaine and Joel. And some kid walked up to give Joel a hug without asking Joel, and he wrapped his arms around Joel and he lifted him up in the air, and Joel was having kidney
Nope.
stones, and he was like, ah!
no.
And he got dropped down, and he signed his autograph, and he was that was a fun
Holy
trip.
shit.
I didn't know anything about that story.
I never heard that either.
Yeah. I think I'm only mentioning it now because, like, thinking back, it was funny. In the moment, I was like, holy fucking
No,
shit,
that's not funny at all.
This is awful. Yeah.
That's crazy that someone would come up and pick up another human being like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that never happens.
If you didn't
pick
know,
up
though, I mean, I can see that.
You
happening.
get a lot of people, especially when they're drunk, trying to physically pick women up.
We have a
Mm.
guy.
And the smaller you are, the more likely it is to happen.
Yeah, I can see that.
But if you were made of lizard scales, you could go, "Ugh," and then they'd.
When you want to be like a porcupine, have quills.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're a lizard, you can give him the cloacal kiss.
Oh, I just remembered.
God.
We have a present for Sally.
Oh, what?
Because you completed your PhD study, right?
Yeah, I handed in
And-
my thesis.
Your
Yes, but I have questions. I have questions. So, what is the process?
Okay,
So-
so
Was it really, really quick?
it varies from country to country.
They don't give you like an exam at the end.
I do have an exam to come.
Really?
So it's called the Viva Voce,
Yeah.
spoken voice, no, living voice. So you do the work, you write the work into essentially a book. Mine was about 35,000 words long, and it's called the thesis. And you hand it in, and you're like, "Hey, I've done my thesis." And then you have to give it to 2 examiners. Oh yeah, there's my YouTube popping up, showing the thing that
Hey,
there's
look at
me
that.
handing in my thesis at my college.
35,000 words.
Yeah, so I love it is that you're popping up my YouTube, and the reason I haven't been doing YouTube is because of that thesis. So you hand in the thesis, and then you have 2 examiners, one from your university, one from a different university, to make sure that it's fair. And they read it and take it apart for 2 months, and then you sit down in a room with them for between 3 and 5 hours,
Good God.
and they grill you on it. And that is the Viva. That's the one bit I have left to do. And then that you can pass with no corrections, pass with minor or major corrections, or fail. Nobody fails pretty much because your supervisor shouldn't have let you submit if you were
That
going
makes
to
sense.
fail.
Yes.
So pretty much no one fails. Also, no one really gets no corrections because this also includes like spelling mistakes and
Mm.
like alignment issues. So usually it's, are you going to get minor or major corrections? And then they'll
Right.
say, hey, we think that your work is good enough, but can you make some changes? Major corrections is like, can you redo an analysis or do an extra experiment? You make the changes, you hand them in, the examiners tick it off. You graduate, which in Oxford is sitting through 2 hours of Latin in a really uncomfortable but beautiful room with a ceiling designed by Christopher Wren, for those that are interested in Old English architecture. And
I love Chris.
yeah, Chris, great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy at ceilings. And yeah, then I am officially a doctor. But pretty much once you pass your Viva, you can call yourself a doctor.
So you got like 8 more hours to go between the Viver and the
graduation.
graduation.
So does that mean when
Those
you're
8
like,
hours would be harder than anything.
What you
you've
got
ever
there,
done.
Gus?
So you're a doctor now. So
Close enough.
we got you a little present here.
Oh,
To-
this is
to
so
commemorate it.
exciting, and it's got a big bow. And, okay.
It's in honor of our favorite movie, Emoji
It's
Movie.
a very fine
a Mamma
mesh.
Mia.
it's Mamma Mia 2 on VHS?
Who wrapped that? They did a really good job.
They did a really
Who
good
wrapped
job,
it?
and I'm just disintegrating
Patrick
it,
raised
so.
his hand. It's Patrick.
Hey, speaking of animated stuff,
It's something every doctor needs.
I was going to
What'd you
guess that.
I don't actually have one of these.
we do now.
It is a lightweight stethoscope.
Oh, I've got that one.
Why?
I bought it so I could hear my cat's heart.
Did you buy it because of its
Jesus
innovative
Christ.
chest piece design and its reliable and clear acoustics and its tunable diaphragm? Wow, you can hear both low and high frequencies with this, and a single lumen tube. This is very
If we
exciting.
turned it on right now, her heartbeat would be racing because she's so excited
I am very
from this thing.
Now, have you had a stethoscope before, right? I mean,
Pardon?
you have you used a stethoscope
I have
before?
used a stethoscope
Just
before.
making sure. Just making sure.
She's a doctor, Bernie.
Listen.
I mean,
have a
Mansplain
I have
stethoscopes
a
to her,
reaction
Bernie.
to it because I was a pre-medical student,
Really?
and then I went through a rotation at the hospital. Went through with other pre-med students. I was in this program. I ended up switching to computer science, but I remember this guy's name, Keith. We had to do this thing. We were taking each other's blood pressure with a
blood pressure,
sphygmomanometer, and so we pump it up like 200, 220,
Mhm.
and then you let it come back down, and when you first start to hear the heartbeat or feel the pulse, but we were actually using a stethoscope to do it, that's when you do the systolic, and then when you stop hearing it at the low end, that's the diastolic. So we're doing
science.
as if you ever, and I can to this day I can still spell sphygmomanometer.
I was going to say, I was very impressed you pronounced that.
But this fucking idiot Keith, we're doing that, and I'm listening, and I was like, I need to adjust something, and he goes, here, I got this, and he holds the stethoscope. I don't know what it's called, the bell, I guess. And he goes, diaphragm, is that what it is? And he goes, here, check this out. And he goes on the end of it, and it is still to this day the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to explain. It's almost like a pressure because it's just air.
So this is the thing, is that it's a very simple design because it's the same as the microphone here, is that this microphone is taking the movement of my sound waves, and there is a little diaphragm in there, and then that is turning it into electric. This is taking the sound waves here and sending the pressure through into these. So it's super simple.
So it's literally pressure that just went whoosh into your ear.
You feel it.
Did you punch him?
No, I did. I was very angry though. Like,
I bet.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like if you put it on and you take the diaphragm and you just press it, you can actually feel like pushing in. And you just press.
I like how they jam themselves into your ears.
Yeah, it seems like they get really uncomfortable after a little while.
They go forward. Down the ear canal. There you go.
Nailed it.
This is Sally. This is the one thing I know. This is it. Just a stethoscope. That's all I know.
Do you have a heart murmur? Check me for heart murmurs.
Okay, you got to do the deep breath, you know?
What is a heart murmur, Blaine?
It's when your heart quietly talks shit about you in your chest.
I don't think you have pneumonia. So that's good.
That is good.
I've had pneumonia and it's awful. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
Thoughtful of you.
So now when you're booking a flight, can you pick doctor as
Yes.
your... That's cool.
The best.
I
I'm
would do that all the
so
time.
looking forward to, like, so is it Miss or Mrs.? And I'd be like, it's Doctor.
Oh, that's so
bitch.
great.
And then you throw on sunglasses.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason you did it, right?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be staying in academia, so a lot of it is just for the title of doctor.
So how long from beginning to end was the whole process? Or once it's done, how long
Dr.
will it be?
LePage.
For me, 5 years. 4 years of which was work because my department got shut down for asbestos halfway through. So that extended things a bit. It's been a very, very stressful year and a half. 2 years.
Oxford.
I know, world-class quality institution. But yeah, so it's been 4 years of research, which is exactly what I was given. So I was on time and under budget.
You talked about being able to select doctor in a drop down. One time I was booking a hotel room and these were the options.
Jesus.
President,
So you pick
Commander,
first lieutenant, right?
Admiral, Doctor and Doctor. Oh, that's for like 2 people.
There was it's
Lord Sergeant.
so long.
Chief
Yeah.
warrant officer.
Second lieutenant.
Yeah, but if you earn that,
President.
you got to use it.
Who?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Captain.
they really wanted to cover every possible title that you could have.
Do they have Pope?
Pope is not on here. Reverend is.
Son of a bitch. I'm
Where's
not
the
staying
Pope's
at this hotel.
title? Pope. But it doesn't come before, does it?
Most holy?
Yeah, is His Holiness on there? Or
You-
Her Holiness?
Dark Lord. Is Dark Lord on there?
No.
Is Queen on there?
My lord.
Lord is.
Is it really?
Yes.
Lord
But the Queen would
Sorolla.
just put...
Oh yeah, I know a bunch of lords.
Do you? How do you become a lord?
Master and commander.
Do you know Lord Sugar?
You get appointed, or you get it by birth, or you are a member of this Church of England. If you're in the House of Lords, so you can get elected to the House of Lords, you can be born into the House of Lords, or you can be Church of England.
What's the highest rank or like
Queen.
Queen.
no, sorry. Let me finish the
Well,
sentence.
actually, king, I suppose.
The
What?
highest like civilian title that I could receive. Or since I'm not born in England, I have no
I don't
chance.
know.
Sir.
Sir?
Right?
You-
Knight.
No,
Wouldn't
he
you be
can't-
knight?
he's
I'm not
not-
sure you can
he's
be,
not
because
British.
Knight is a member of the British Empire.
Oh.
Or
What if I-
Honor of the
what if-
Order of the British Empire, and one of them.
What if I
Commander
got
of the British
citizenship
Empire.
out in England?
Then you good, son.
Then I could be a sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
But
the highest thing
we're
is.
going to want you to give up your American passport, though.
Can women be knighted?
You don't really have to
Yeah.
do that.
You get a damehood.
Get a damehood.
So Dame Judi Dench.
So
is-
yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Okay.
What's
What's the
Everyone
likelihood?
goes straight to Judi Dench.
Who's gonna more likely to be knighted? Sally or Death?
Hmm.
Why, I
Sally.
vomited on camera the other day. No one's going to knight me.
Queen loves.
Yeah,
it,
good
though.
point, Sally.
Sally.
She would love that.
I don't know why I'd be knighted.
Who selects that? Is it strictly the queen, or is it like a committee that's like, yeah, this person deserves
You
it?
get your name thrown in by a committee.
Are they on a
Yeah,
round
it's-
table?
it's not
Please
gonna
tell
be
me
the
they sit at a
Queen.
round table.
It is not going to be the Queen.
The Queen just She sits down and she opens the yellow pages.
It's like, I was watching YouTube the other day, and I thought that
I
this person
bloody
has...
love
What
Zoella.
YouTuber could be knighted?
What YouTuber?
Oh,
So it would be for services
Jake Paul.
to either
Or Logan.
entertainment or services to education, probably.
Sure.
So within the UK,
Dan Grush.
Okay, so
Alfie.
Americans can get honorary British knighthoods and damehoods. So they can append the honor to their name, but they cannot use the title sir or dame. So, for example, Bill Gates has been knighted, and he can describe himself as Bill Gates, KBE, but not Sir Bill Gates.
KBE.
Knight of the
Knight of the
British
British
Empire.
Empire.
God.
Yes.
You still use Empire, huh?
Yeah.
Seems like
We've
that's
got
a little-
some countries left.
Yeah, but I don't know. Empire just got,
We've got the Commonwealth.
over time that term has become a little more negative, I feel like. Empire.
a bit like the word America.
What's that?
Nothing.
Yeah, but that's a recent development. That's a recent development. We were pretty cool up until what do you think?
2
10
years ago?
10 years ago?
Man,
America was wicked when I moved here.
not anymore. When elections were going on, we were out in LA
Gavin's fault.
writing Arizona Circle of Funhouse, and Chris and Josh kept checking the election stuff, and we had like 7 more hours until the elections were final.
know.
But like all the results were trickling in, and I almost started screaming. I was like, "Stop! You're just stressing everybody out. Just fucking stop."
You're not going to know anything for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And then they went out to like a party that night, and they're like, "Yeah, we got it's another 3 or 4 hours until the election's called." And I literally stayed in, watched a movie, checked the results, okay, and then that was it. But they were like,
What
growing
movie were
gray
you
hairs.
watching?
Yeah, did you watch Mamma Mia?
I
Was
watched
it
Mamma
animated?
Mia.
I watched
2.
7.
The animated Mamma
Two
Mia.
Mama, two Mia.
I want to say, so I do want to say something real fast about the election. This is our first podcast. I guess the election was last Tuesday.
No, it wasn't.
And
I
I
voted
know
way before that.
there were, we had like record numbers of young voters in this country.
Tons of
went out.
Russians,
It was like
too.
one of the highest turnout for young voters ever. And I don't want young voters to be discouraged if the election didn't necessarily go the way they want to.
Totally.
I've been voting for over 20 years now, and I've probably voted losing in more elections than I have winning. I think the important thing is just to get out there and then not have this be a fluke, but have this be something that becomes a regular thing for you and that you continue to vote.
How is this a positive message for young people that we could end up
Take
like
your
Gus?
lumps and keep voting.
No, fucking take to the streets and burn shit down. The system has failed you.
The system has
How many-
maybe failed.
How many voters in Texas? How many people voted in Texas?
I'm looking.
I don't even know.
I don't even know how many
Why
people there
Midterm
are in
elections
Texas.
historically have a much lower turnout.
I
Can we
think
start with it? With the population of Texas?
Oh, that's a good question. 38 million.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know. The U.S. is 400 million at this
Yeah,
point.
I know, but 38
No.
million, that's over half
like
the UK.
325.
second biggest state.
It's like what?
Baby.
So in for
325,
for
isn't it?
for the senator in
Inflation.
Texas, there were slightly over 8 million votes for
Wow,
Texas Senate.
Texas is
Where was
big.
everyone else?
But
Dude,
that includes
I-
kids and people who can't vote. So
Well, I mean,
what is
most
that?
people are over
28.3
18.
million people in Texas.
How many?
28.3?
Right. California has 40 million.
Hmm.
Florida has
insane.
20.9. So Texas is the biggest, second biggest state by land
And I think
mass.
UK is what, 77?
Oh, I think we have more than Australia.
Pretty good.
Called
325
it.
million.
Yeah, it's 325 million is the U.S. You were correct.
I don't like
Mm.
that.
So there are 15 million registered voters in Texas.
How
So
many?
15
so 5
million.
million registered people didn't. Wait, how many voted?
So about a little over 8 million. So 7
Oh.
million people did not.
I think after this election, I'm going to vote in every midterm. Like
You should vote on not on just on every midterm, every election. The most important ones are the local ones, like
Yeah.
the ones that don't get any attention. Those are really like decided by just a small number of votes. That I think voting even on what are considered like the boring, not exciting local ones, those are so important.
Never in my life did I think I'd be giving a shit about senators and just the minutia details of our government. And now I'm like, oh, well, it's like talking sports almost. I care more about government than I do about fucking sports at this point.
Well, that's great. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
It should be.
I don't like that whenever you talk about climate change, it's considered political.
Mhm.
And like there was an ad banned in the UK or something.
Yeah,
good ad.
let's not go into that. It
What?
probably wasn't.
It
wasn't-
probably
oh, it was
wasn't
like
banned.
Fake banned. Oh, whatever.
Anyway,
Every time you talk about the
but
environment,
people
everyone's like, "Oh, I don't
people
want to hear
do
about
think
politics."
that climate change is political. People think that evolutionary biology is political over here, which
It's true.
is astonishing to me as
True.
someone with a almost doctorate in evolutionary biology.
I guess if there's if there's a big problem and people don't want to fix it, a lot of people will deny it, therefore making it an argument, therefore making it political.
Well, with
and that's
yeah.
really frustrating to hear people say that climate change ain't happening.
Because with climate change, you also have the link to big companies like oil and gas and the travel industry and like flying. There are so many industries involved that people can pretend that whether or not climate change exists is political, and that's not political. What we can do about it is totally political. Science isn't going to tell you what to do about it.
I think we've said this on the podcast before. Is, I think people also look at it the wrong way. They say like doing something about climate change or trying to stop it is going to cost jobs or it's going to put people out of work. It's like, what about all the jobs it's going to create? What
There's
about
a
new
great
industry
comic.
we can make? Like we could employ potentially far more people creating these new technologies and working in these fields.
I saw something great, I think it was on Twitter, which was, but what happens if climate change isn't real and all we've done is create a cleaner earth and renewable, cheaper energy and more jobs and, made a safer world and improved habitats and biodiversity and all these things? What if all of that climate change wasn't even man-made?
Right. Oh well.
Whoa, what a shame.
Undo it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, to say the least.
It is.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a bummer year. I think I was like, somebody called back to an old podcast from around the same time, but last year, where I was like, man, 2017 sucked. Man, there's no way that 2018 is going to suck. What if 2018 actually really does suck? And then here we are, and I'm like, man, 2018 fucking sucked.
Remember in 2016, everyone was all upset about
Well, that was when everyone
celebrities were dying. And everyone was like, oh, we got to get out of this year. And then like the whole world turned into shit. Like at the end of 2016.
died. Celebrities were just getting out.
Right. They were
bailing.
smart. And they were
They went back to their
bailing
home
out.
planets. David Bowie wasn't from here.
I don't think so. Probably not. He probably just had, some kind of extra access or, like pay to win for the simulation that we all live inside
He was like Doctor Strange. He'd seen all the potential futures.
That was the best version of him.
Yeah.
I would say
was-
Prince was also an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Did he invent the keytar, or am I misremembering that?
I don't know that anybody's claimed invention of the keytar.
Who invented the keytar?
Also, isn't the keytar you just took the keyboard and then you flipped it sideways and you held it like that?
Yeah, there's nothing. You're not actually doing anything with the left hand, are you?
No, not really any
so.
inventing involved with that, is there?
Is it different noises to a
Steve
keyboard?
Masekowski. Is that Prince's real name?
Yeah, you were super close there. I always get Prince Steve
The
Masekowski.
artist formerly known as Steve Masekowski.
Was his name Prince? Was his birth name Prince? I
Was
know
he,
his
was he
name.
royalty?
His name was that symbol for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, Steve Masekowski.
Isn't
Isn't that the name of the character
what
that's in Monsters, Inc.?
That's Mike Wachowski.
Oh.
What it says right under his name is he's been incorrectly credited for many years as the inventor of the keytar.
Prince?
Steve Masekowski.
Wait a minute. So why is he coming up in the...
I don't know. So you search for it on Google, and it has his name, and it says he's been incorrectly credited for many years as the inventor of the keytar.
Yeah,
Like,
he
guys,
did
I didn't
invent
invent
it
the damn
And
keytar.
it's like why does he pop up there?
How does that happen? What's the seed that starts that? Where he gets incorrectly identified
probably
as
was
the
just
inventor
saying
of
it.
the keytar.
He was just saying it at parties.
It's
and
just people that want to see other people in pain. They're masochists. Masochists. It didn't land. It didn't land. Not my
okay.
best.
It's
Can we
okay.
cut that from the podcast?
No, it's good.
We're live? Okay.
it didn't land.
So
it burned up before it
it's weird how stuff like enters our collective consciousness, though. Where one of my favorite examples of that was a guy who worked on Back to the Future 2 made a statement. They were doing a behind the scenes interview with him.
Are you going to spoil Back to the Future 2 for
I
me?
don't
Because
think-
I have only just seen Back to the Future 1.
So Back to the Future
Oh my
2,
God.
I've now seen it though.
The movie's over 30 years old.
he goes.
So
Was it animated?
Even by the way, even with the date they go to in the future, that's 3 years ago. So
That
I
was
don't
why
know
ended
that I
up-
can spoil
that's
this.
why I ended up watching it because it was in the past and it
We are
was on the news. And it was like,
Literally
oh, we have-
beyond the future they envisioned. I think we're beyond spoiler territory. But I won't spoil it for you. But there is an invention in there called the hoverboard, which, as now a doctor,
Yes.
you should
oh,
probably.
close enough.
Well, close enough. So where are you? I called you a candidate earlier, and you said, "No, I'm not a candidate anymore." Now you are
I'm not actually sure what the technical term is.
Same.
you're in
like a
limbo.
Because
Pre-doctor.
What happens? You're purgatory for
Doctor
smart people.
prologue.
Because I will be, what's the term? So once I finish my thesis, I will be granted leave to supplicate. And that is when
I killed those in Destiny.
that is when I will technically be able to, no, so technically I can only call myself a doctor when I graduate. So I'll be a doctor graduand. So a graduand is someone who's done the degree but hasn't graduated yet. So from the gerundive Latin form, meaning in the process of, or ing.
Do we need that many different? Can't we just have you're a doctor or you're not a doctor?
I think once I've done my Viva,
Well-
I'm going to call myself a doctor in waiting.
I'm just
She's
calling you
closer to
now.
doctor than I am, though. So, like, in your system, we would both be not a doctor.
You're closer to a gardener than I am. Who
Hey,
cares?
Sally, what happens?
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. How
love
many lawns
gardening.
have you mowed?
Can we have a whole podcast on gardening?
What happens
Wow.
if you're on an airplane and somebody like passes out and they're like, "Is there a doctor on this plane?" And be like,
I would be like, yes, but please ask someone else first. No, I just wouldn't raise my hand.
Okay.
No, probably not.
That
Because
really
I don't
sounded
want to
like-
waste people's time with them thinking that I'm a doctor.
"What if the man's
Although-
dying from some evolutionary biology thing that you could have?"
You can't fix evolution. She's not gonna fix him
Yeah, the
genetically.
man that is dying from the fact that these maggots are cannibalizing their non-siblings versus their siblings.
You know how to fix that.
I
You're like,
know how to fix that.
I'm uniquely qualified.
Gus, were you
That
sitting
was
next to me on the
my
plane when the guy behind us died?
I was not there.
There's a guy
Who
that
was
died on
it?
a plane.
Who was
Someone's died
who
on a
was it?
plane?
Who was
Don't
it?
worry, they came back to life.
This
Oh.
is 100% true. That's exactly what happened.
Sorry, what?
Who was it that was sitting next to me? But we were sitting here. It's like, so right behind me.
Dead guy.
Well, I
I-
remember Jack was annoyed that someone died on his flight.
Yeah,
once.
he was annoyed because.
He was annoyed. What about the guy that
If
died?
you're
He wasn't
dying, you're not
annoyed.
annoyed.
And
It's
wasn't
fine.
the whole reason he got annoyed was that they like deplaned the dead body first and he had to wait? Wasn't that it or something
Whoa.
like that? Or
He
they
must have died
divert-
really early on in the flight because planes have spaces that they keep dead bodies in if someone dies during
Where?
the flight.
I think
I
it was
want to
a-
hang out there. Where
It
is
was a
that?
domestic. I think that's only
Why?
like international flights that they have the spaces for
Oh
it.
yeah, I don't know if they
Yeah.
got them on domestic. They'll maybe sit them in a spare seat.
Where's?
Well, they can sit in their own seat, can't they?
Oh yeah.
But Sally,
Well, it
where
depends
is
if
this space though?
It's well, you know, like how the air crew have their own little cabins.
Yeah.
And they got a special little cupboard, and you can stick a person.
Is
in
it like
there.
an overhead bin?
I don't think it's
And then it-
overhead. but
Turbulence.
yeah.
I really like this idea of a.
They just shove him into one of the loos and put occupied on him permanently.
Actually, I think that might be what they do on a domestic.
What if
You
you
put him in the loo?
It might be.
What if they
Yeah,
open
but
the door and he's
It
not there
seems to
anymore?
ring a bell.
But the doors, they sort of open, they like fold in. So
Yeah.
if the body slumps down onto the floor,
just like,
how do
oh
they
my
open
God.
how do they get the
It's a
door
good
open?
system, though.
I would love to do
I
another
like that
Abbey at some
bathroom
point.
system. Like even you have to lock the door to turn on the lights. That's a good system. It's like they thought of everything for that.
I still see a crazy number of people walk into airplane bathrooms and not lock the door.
Maybe
it's crazy to me that
you
that
might be
still happens.
witnessing
they
people that
see?
are trying to get it on, like they're trying to welcome their partner.
But
in.
there's no window. Isn't it pitch black?
If I don't
in
tell the
those
story
there's
about the
still
dead
some
guy,
dim
people are
There's
light.
gonna
still
freak
some
out.
light.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People are
Go
gonna
on.
freak out if I don't tell the story about
Tell
the
the
dead guy. So here I'm gonna sum up.
Okay.
So we were on a plane, and I could have sworn it was Gus, maybe it was Jeff or somebody like that. And we're
Was not
sitting
me.
there, and we're just flying along. We're halfway through the flight, and all of a sudden I hear the flight attendant. She goes, "Sir, sir," and I'm like, "Is she talking to me?" And she's like, "Sir," and she's behind me. I can't see the guy because he's literally right behind me. I have to do this number to see him. And she's like, "Sir, sir," I'm in the aisle. He's in the aisle. The guy right behind me. She's like, "Sir, sir, sir, sir," and she's like, then she gets aggressive.
Was there someone sitting next to him?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't recall that. Probably every flight is full these days. It seems like. Then they did a call for a doctor. Sure enough, there was a doctor somewhere in the plane. Comes up.
Oh, I'm
And he
sorry. I'm
starts-
terribly sorry. I'm a doctor of medieval history.
Exactly right. I'm so sorry. I just came here to give him a colloquial kiss. What is it?
Cloacal.
Colloquial kiss. That sounds like a weapon in
Colloquial.
Destiny. The colloquial kiss. I got it by finishing the raid
Where
in
you
Destiny.
fight the supplicants.
But then the doctor is talking to him, trying to get some kind of response. No response. And then I just hear the doctor say, right behind me, he says, "Oh yeah, I can't. He doesn't have a pulse. I can't get a pulse." And she's like, "Oh my." She's like, "Okay." And then they start going to some kind of procedure. And guys, I could have sworn it was you. We're
It
like,
wasn't me.
we're like, guys, it's like, got no pulse, whatever. And then, I don't know, some amount of time passed, like 20, 30 seconds. And the doctor goes, Oh, there you are. Hey, what's going on? Guy goes, He goes, can you hear me? Can you understand me? He goes, yeah, Then he goes through like this cognitive test with him of like, what day is it? How you feeling? All this stuff. And he's like, oh, you're looking better. Your color's back now. Okay. Doctor just goes back to his seat. And then apparently makes some kind of comment that like, yeah, this happens sometimes with people on planes, their blood pressure drops, and thought he was dead, and like basically declared the guy dead. And then 30 seconds later, the guy's alive. And then the plane lands. They don't even let this guy off first, like a medical emergency. He just gets off with everybody else.
He just walked off on his own.
Jeez.
Fucking,
Did they tell the guy that they declared him dead?
I don't know.
Does
They
he
should have
not
though, right?
know that he's a zombie?
That was fucked up, man.
He probably just thought he napped.
The plot to Weekend at Bernie 3 fucking sucks.
You know, if when they ask, is there a doctor on board? If no one comes forward, do they then put it just like whoever wants to
No,
try?
then they promote the captain to doctor.
I'm going to let you in on a
and then
secret.
he
And indict
selects a
him.
different thing on the drop down.
Because I've worked with doctors before. A lot of them won't volunteer. They just won't say anything.
Why?
First
They
of
don't want
all,
to be sued.
doctors are assholes, honestly. Medical doctors tend to be kind of dickheads. But then also, yeah, they could be sued.
So there's a thing in the UK where a doctor can't be sued for inflicting harm if they're doing it in order to help someone.
Good Samaritan.
Something close enough, yeah, our
Yeah.
version of it. But there are a lot of countries that don't, and when you're in international airspace, you're not sure which law applies. And so, yeah, sometimes they don't.
I
Yeah,
took
someone-
business law and I learned that you can like walk up to a person that's like literally drowning and they'd be like, "Help! You help me! Help!" And then you could just, I don't know.
I thought you
Unless you're a
break the
boat
law
captain.
if you don't help someone. Like if you see someone drowning in the ocean and you just ignore them.
I don't think
You
that
don't
could be
have
the
to.
case because you can't enforce by law that someone should put their own life in danger in order
Right.
to help a stranger.
I
Because, for
swear, I
example,
saw a
if you-
video of like these two kids. They were laughing at this guy like floating down a river and he was drowning.
Oh, I
and-
saw
and He
that.
died, and then they arrested both the kids.
I think that varies country to country
What, they
or state
expect the
to
kids to
state.
get in the fucking raging river? and
Well,
save
like
this guy?
called,
They didn't call for
the
help.
emergency
Oh, that
services.
sucks,
Oh,
dude.
They obviously had phones. They were filming on their phone.
Oh my god, there is literally a fly that just landed on my finger. They are coming for me. They
Yeah.
are coming for me.
wrong?
Was it,
They're like,
a
we
lot
s-
of her research was with flies.
We saw what you did with
5
the
years
Drosophila.
of my research was on fly. Not one of those type of flies.
Mute
That's
Sally's microphone. I'm going to slap this fly. Here we go.
If he does it, you're going to be a doctor. He's dead.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
not.
Sorry.
Well, you're
Sorry,
gonna be a
Sally.
doctor anyway.
Now we got a slightly faulty microphone. It's fine.
Sorry,
while you
just-
figure
I
that
broke
out,
her microphone. Guys,
I'm going to
good.
read
I'm a
this thing.
doctor. I
like the
can
most
fix it.
important thing on the set.
It's all good. We're good, guys.
If you're a DC fan, you'll definitely want to check out the latest live action series, Titans.
Who writes this ad copy for these things? Do they not do any research at all? Who writes these? Do we take it from them?
Why?
We totally buried a lead on something there.
What?
Wait, who plays Hawk in Titans?
I don't know.
Alan Richardson
Who?
from Laser Team. We didn't mention that. Alan Richardson is in the show.
I did
Oh.
really?
Yeah, handsomest man on the planet.
What did you play?
Hawk.
Is that like Hawkman?
I think it might be a variation on that. Yeah. God damn, he's a handsome man.
I like Alan.
How do you miss that?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Wow,
You're not keeping up with Alan Richardson's career.
Apparently not.
Oh, dude, dude, I can't not.
Wasn't
keep
he
up with that.
Aquaman?
He was Aquaman in Smallville.
Oh.
So
I feel
anyway,
like this,
go watch Titans because Alan Richardson's in it and he's fucking great and he's handsome. Have I
feel
mentioned
like
he's
I'm-
handsome? I think I've mentioned it.
I'm
maybe
totally not
3 times.
re-recording that later.
Why not?
He can do it.
You don't have
Well,
to re-record it. I was adding on. I was supplementing.
Yep.
I also see it because of Nightwing.
Yep.
Come on.
Gus looks a bit jebbed off.
a little jabbing.
Was it Eric that wrote that? Where's Eric?
Eric's not here.
Where is he?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
We had some confusion.
Do we write our own ads? I thought they write ads.
They do.
It varies, I think.
I want to write one.
But we should be able to be like, hey, put this in there. Alan Richardson. He's very handsome. He is. He's
On a
very-
scale of 1 to 100.
Have you not seen Alan Richardson?
I don't think I have.
Oh, let's get a picture of
You've
him.
seen Back to the
Dude.
Future.
Okay.
Doctor.
I got like pictures saved in my phone. of him.
Okay.
Do
He
you?
was.
No.
I'm looking forward to it. Who's going to bring one up first? Over here or over there?
They're
Yeah,
probably-
we gotta
they're
find the
much
best
faster
one.
over
Look
there.
at this handsome man.
Oh, there we
Look-
go.
Holy shit! Look at his abs.
This handsome man.
It's all right. It's got quite small eyes.
It got small. It's a tiny picture. You don't know what you're fucking talking about.
He's squinting.
And unnaturally white teeth.
Oh, they're so good.
Hmm.
Just-
Hmm.
It's like a happy sight for the eyes.
They have Hawk and Dove. Isn't
Oh,
it?
like the classic game theory game. Evolutionary theory game. No.
No,
There you go.
Classic. Let's talk about Back to the Future.
People studying biology will get that, and we'll know what we're talking
What
about.
is it? What is Hawk and Dove?
Hawk and Dove has two strategies where a hawk attacks everything. A dove only retaliates when attacked and does not go into attack first.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
the podcast theory.
and it's the which one is the better strategy based on the frequencies. And it's all about frequency dependence as to which is the best alternate strategy and evolutionarily stable strategies, ESSs. Here we go. Evo, what do you call them over here? Not freshmen. What do you call the people?
Freshmen.
Sophomore? Junior?
Just people
Senior.
doing an undergrad. You don't call it undergrad here.
Undergrad.
Undergrad.
You just call it, there we go. Biology undergrads, you know what I'm talking about.
So I only ever hear it referred to like in economic theory here. Like if when the people are in charge of, the Fed, they'll say they have a very hawkish or very dovish approach when it comes to economic policy.
Yeah, economics and evolution are very, very similar to the point where people make economic models based on evolutionary theory. And so, yeah, there's a huge amount of overlap, particularly with game theory, which is all of this. What your actions, benefits, and cost depends on the behaviors of the group.
Interesting.
Nah,
So-
that's not how I don't subscribe to that economic theory. I'm
I
Adam and Eve.
so I sent you.
Smooth, real smooth.
Blaine tried to be as cool as possible and kicked his own water bottle.
He
off
blamed
the
it.
table.
Luckily, it was shut.
So I sent. I was chatting with Sally earlier this afternoon before the podcast
Oh yeah, I was looking that up.
about an article that I'd seen that someone sent me over the weekend, talking about how, and I'm not sure how much you read on it, but it said that elephants were starting to become a more dominant trait that elephants were born without tusks, since elephants
More
with
prominent
tusks,
trait, yeah.
right, have been poached so severely that now it's advantageous for them not to have tusks.
That sucks.
More so than needing tusks.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So, two things to know about tusks. Three things. Firstly, in African elephants, Asian elephants have tiny tusks anyway, so we're not looking at them. We're looking at African elephants, two different species. Secondly,
They make a great gift.
tusks get
Sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry. Go ahead.
tusks get bigger with age, and so the older an elephant is, the bigger the tusks will be. And thirdly, male elephants have larger tusks than female elephants.
So it's like the same, but with human ears.
So mostly it's for fighting. And so they found that it's predominantly the females that are losing their tusks and not the males. So there always used to be like 2 or 3% of females that would be born with pretty much no tusks at all. And now you're looking at like 30-40% of female elephants are
just
born
because they're getting the
with no
chance
tusks.
to breed more often. 'Cause
Well,
they're not getting
exactly,
killed.
because they get to live for longer, because it's the older female elephants, the one with the bigger tusks, that would get hunted, and it was the male elephants that would get hunted. And they haven't quite worked out why males haven't lost tusks to the same degree that females have. There's all sorts of things like X-linked, where if the gene is on one of the sex chromosomes, it affects the sexes differently and can be selected out differently. But also males need it for fighting, and like elephants do need tusks. They dig up the earth and they break open bark on trees and things like that with their tusks.
What do
And
they dig the earth up for?
because they want to root around for plant
Latrine.
matter.
Oh, okay.
And one of the weird things is that it's changing the whole ecology of the area, because elephants are ecosystem engineers and they change the environment around them in the same way a beaver creates a dam that floods an area. And so lots of other animals rely on elephant activity to produce nice habitats. So there are some lizards that like to live where an elephant has dug up the soil. And now these elephants don't have tusks. They can't do that as much, but they seem to be able to cope in some sense. So if another elephant with tusks had walked by and scraped off the bark, they can then peel it off with their teeth.
Why do they need to take the bark off? Do they eat the bark? What's the bark thing?
Oh, they can eat the plant matter behind the bark.
Okay.
So every herd just needs one elephant with tusks.
Exactly.
And they need to guard that elephant.
Yes.
This
I
is
with
thought
their
the
life.
interesting thing was
dig
how
lizard
quickly
homes.
the change was happening. It seemed like everything was within like a 30-year span.
Well, so I was having a quick look on Google Scholar, as you do, and there seems to be papers from the 60s, 70s first documenting the reduction in tusks among African elephants, but certainly within about 100 years.
Way faster than you would think on an evolutionary scale.
Particularly for elephants, yes, because it's not so much about the number of years that matters for evolution as the number of generations that matters. And
Wasn't there a thing once with pollution and butterflies where
peppered moth?
As a moth?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the pepper moth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Industrial Revolution, everything was covered in soot because we had all of these coal burning factories in the UK, and these moths that used to be mottled white colour to camouflage into lichen on trees. Suddenly the trees were covered in black soot, and so over the course of a few generations they all turned black. And then we had the Clean Air Act, and they stopped producing so much soot. So there we go. So that's the original and current form of the peppered moth.
So they went back to.
And then they went back to that after the air got cleaned up.
It's
So
just like
there's
fashion.
a melanic form.
2 questions. 1, if I were to grow tusks as a human,
Yes.
where would they be on my face?
Ooh, so tusks are essentially teeth.
Yeah, right.
So are they going right
Um,
here?
So I mean,
Are they
it's-
molars or canines?
well,
Canines,
they
right?
are their own type of teeth.
Can you have
'Cause they
buck
are-
tusks?
'cause they
That'd be
ha-
awesome.
They have teeth as well as tusks. I reckon, in terms of evolutionary speaking, it's probably easiest to evolve tusks from canines.
So do tusks like on an elephant come out of their mouth? I thought they were like on like the outside of their lips or
I
whatever.
think they're to one side. I'm not entire. I think they're to one side, but they are also made of tooth material.
You know how you get weird mutations sometimes,
Yes.
even like in humans, like someone might grow an arm out.
I have like a
like
like
a
a
third arm.
tiny nipple, but it might be a mole, but I'm not sure.
Show us.
You mentioned this last time I was on the podcast. Did you still not
He
get
just
that
wants to take
checked
off
out?
his shirt.
No, I don't. I don't even want to do it now.
Oh,
man.
show us your thing. Your gross thing.
It's like right here. There's hair growing out of it, so I guess it's a. I guess it's,
It looks like a mole.
what does that make it? Does it make it a nipple if it's hair growing out of it, or does it make it a mole?
oh, do you grow hairs out of your nipple?
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, no-
I guess I do too.
What do you got going on
Boy,
down there?
you're on fire today, man.
Do you think an
More
elephant?
from the areola, I suppose.
There was like I had a second question too.
Yeah.
That big river that runs right through London. You know the
the
one.
Thames.
That's the one.
Yeah.
How many corpses do you think are in there, Sally?
Nowadays,
Valid question.
quite a few. I
This
mean,
is gonna come up on that thesis.
she said
of
quite a
yours.
few.
you hear about people discovering bodies when they go because it's so close to the sea that the Thames is quite tidal,
Mm-hmm.
and so you'll get these mud flats that become exposed at low tide,
Okay.
and people will come across bodies. There's always dog walkers. I don't know why people ever.
60 dead bodies a year are
Okay.
removed from London's river.
Yeah. But it would have
Oh.
been loads more in the olden days,
'Cause
right?
they were just
would have just
tossing
them. Like one a
dumped them
week.
straight in the river. But no, in the city of London, or not in the city that is London, there will be quite a few still nowadays.
Wow.
We had a crazy milestone. I think it was
I'm curious to see where this
New
goes.
York, where we went 24 hours where nobody was shot.
Yay!
Yeah,
Well done.
look at us,
New
Did it.
York.
Nobody was murdered. Maybe that's what it was.
So
Oh,
like,
I doubt it was. No one was murdered.
so like in this picture,
I think that was it.
how many
Was it?
dead
Was it
bodies do you
murdered?
think I have in that picture?
Ooh, I'm gonna
I got
say.
got a picture of.
I'm
five.
gonna say probably 0.1 because if there's 60 a year and you're looking at a very small fraction for a very short period of time.
Well, I feel like that's the main stretch, though. I feel like if it's in the beginning of EastEnders, that's probably where most of the corpses.
Ah,
would be.
EastEnders. Very familiar with that.
There was
I don't know what that was.
24
Oh, they-
hours without a single violent crime.
Wow,
yeah.
that's
New
actually
York
really
City
impressive.
hails weekend without. They had a whole weekend
What-
without any murders.
What was going on that weekend? Was there like a festival?
For 3 days, from Friday to Sunday, New Yorkers generated no new business for NYPD homicide squad.
But like, what was going on that weekend though? Maybe if we found a
Was
correlation.
it like
There's
when
like
the
an
clocks
increase,
go forward and so that weekend was an hour shorter than normal?
Maybe there was a blizzard. Everyone stayed in.
or like, was there an increase in like pizza sales? You know,
Did the
everybody was happy?
911 lines just not work that weekend? And so they're
Probably.
like, oh, there were no crimes. Hey!
They were just like, call back Monday.
The phone's off the hook.
Yeah.
Man, I
On
had
Thursday morning in Brooklyn, a 25-year-old man was shot in the torso by a gunman who climbed into a car and fled the scene with an accomplice. That same car appears to have crashed into an ambulance a few streets away. That's
That's handy.
it's like they're like saying, so after that, nothing bad happened. But that event sounds horrible for everybody involved.
Well, except for the guy that crashed the car into the ambulance.
It's the guy who shot? Yeah, he
Well,
crashed his car into an
he probably had
ambulance.
immediate assistance.
What if you crashed in the back of the ambulance, you went through the windshield and landed
was-
in the back on the
there
gurney,
was
and
a-
they just kept driving?
there was an awful series of accidents here in Austin. I think it was last weekend where the police pulled over a drunk driver. Another drunk driver came and hit the police car because, you know, they got drawn to the lights. So an ambulance showed up
Like a
because someone
gnat.
was hurt. Then another drunk driver crashed into the ambulance that was there because a drunk driver crashed into a cop who pulled over a drunk driver.
Wow.
Did anybody die?
No, but a couple
thank
people
God.
had to go to the hospital.
That fucking sucks. Could you also imagine being like the first cop on the scene and you're like, God damn it, by like the third drunk driver?
It's like, well, yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Like, in one particular spot, like 3
Was it
in that period of time.
like
Also,
Halloween
get a fucking
weekend or
lift, you
something?
animals.
I don't think so. I think it was after Halloween.
Did
But
you
it was
also
right around then.
did you hear that there were survivors from the Vegas shooting in the most recent mass shooting?
In California.
Is that
And one of
true?
them died.
Yeah.
There was one
Like
of them that died.
the odds of that should be astronomical. You shouldn't have to go through
Well,
2
let's
mass
think
shootings.
Oh no, I get that.
And the
but-
fact that that's like can happen is mental.
We have
but it
so
was
many-
a pretty big crowd that guy in Vegas shot at, right?
True.
Like it was like 15,000 people, and it was a concert, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There
so
were
it's a
shitloads of
bigger
people
pool,
there, but
but it is unbelievable.
it's still like that's
It's unbelievable.
We have so many shootings, our shootings are crossing over into our other shootings. And it fucking sucks too because what was Columbine? 13 dead?
I think so. That sounds about right.
I feel like that's happened. Like, I mean, we've broken the record well over a couple times, especially with Vegas. And now it's like
15.
you don't even hear about the coverage is just like dead after a couple of weeks, and you don't hear anything about those mass shootings anymore. But Columbine, I remember that shook 2 school years of our lives. Like they changed the security in the schools. People had to wear like special backpacks, and then now it's just like, oh yeah,
what's
Well,
special
after
another mass shooting.
They would do clear ones. After Sandy Hook, I mean, it seems like nothing really changed. So I remember I saw this stat the other day. The shooting in Thousand Oaks was the 307th mass shooting in 2018
Congrats.
in the US?
in the U.S. Yeah,
So that's almost one a day.
that's our thing.
It's one
Yeah.
a day.
You guys don't get that.
No, we don't.
Mass
we have-
shooting
we have,
divided
like,
what,
It was
bands,
4 more
though.
people.
4 more. There's 307 mass shootings in 311 days.
So we're under one a day. Great. Look
If
at
we're
us.
having a conversation on police stuff, do you want a slightly more light-hearted police
Please.
encounter? I had a really exciting thing that happened on the plane over here.
You
Someone-
died and came back to life.
No, although it wasn't exciting enough to directly follow on from Bernie's anecdote. But still, someone got kicked off the plane.
What
Like,
happened?
I've only seen that on Twitter. I've never seen that actually happening in real life.
What
Were
did
they
they do?
being obnoxious?
They didn't, so they were behind me, so I didn't hear exactly what was happening, but everyone was chatting about it. It's one of those few times where I will actually chat to strangers on public transport, and if you can call a plane public. And so yeah, so this woman was getting all mouthy at the cabin crew,
Mhm.
and it turns out it's
Don't do
because
that. That's
she
the
didn't-
recipe for disaster.
she didn't want to sit next to a dog. But the weirdest thing was, because someone else had a service dog.
Why would you not want to sit next to a dog?
I know, right? But the weirdest thing was,
because it's a fucking dog.
It's exact.
but
In a
then,
public
but
place.
then
Not everyone has to put up with that.
it turned out she wasn't even going to be next to the dog. She was going to be 2 rows behind
Oh,
the dog.
Who cares? Yeah.
And she got all mouthy, and then they kicked her off. But it was very exciting.
Where did this happen?
In Atlanta.
Okay, I say this definitely doesn't sound like this was the UK.
You guys were
Oh,
you
no.
guys were still at the gate,
We were in the plane ready to go, and
but
they
you hadn't
delayed.
pulled away and then went
No,
back.
we hadn't
to,
pulled away yet.
Dude,
It'd be great
if,
if they could just chuck you out on the tarmac and be like, walk back.
if someone were to offer
We're keeping
me
your bag.
a seat in first class and a
Or a seat
regular
next to a
seat
dog.
next to a dog,
Take
I'd
the
say
dog.
I would go next to the dog.
Nah,
Yeah,
you gotta
you're-
see the dog. Not
you're
every
not allowed
dog's on the
to-
same level.
What kind of dog was it? Did you
Can't
see?
pet a service dog.
We couldn't even hear the dog or see the dog. It was so small.
Oh, it was tiny.
I don't know. Well, it obviously wasn't big enough to
We're-
sit. I don't know.
Were you on the flight with me coming back from Baltimore where the guy had that giant black Labrador with him?
Was that the flight where
Oh.
you said, see you later, bitch, and sat down in first class and I sat between a baby and a dog in
Yeah,
economy?
that was it.
Well,
Dog,
at least you got a dog.
baby.
It was a huge dog.
And I was just like
Aw.
this. It was actually kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
dogs
was
are great.
Dogs are great.
What
You
is your why was this dog skepticism I'm
You
hearing over here?
don't necessarily want to sit next to every dog on the plane.
I beg to
What is
differ.
the rule with dogs in restaurants? I was at a restaurant
They're
yesterday
all service dogs. Now.
and someone walked in with this giant dog.
It's a service dog. They're all service
They had
dogs.
no vest or anything. There's nothing identifying it
They
as
don't
a
need to.
service animal.
People just say
Was
it's
it in
a service
Austin?
animal.
Yeah.
That's just awesome, baby.
Could have been like
It was in a fucking restaurant. I was like,
Yeah, it's
I'm
awesome.
cool with dogs, but
You eat on a
maybe
plane?
it was like a support, like an emotional dog.
There you go. Service
Yeah, am
dog.
I right in thinking you don't have like a standardized thing for service dogs in America?
We do, but people phone it in because they just buy a vest on Amazon. I've seen some like shittily behaved dogs at the airport, and I'd be like, that is not a service dog. That is a vest that they bought.
Because like our guide dogs, for example, so they're not emotional support dogs, but guide dogs for the blind.
Right.
You basically get them from the guide dogs charity. They get them all trained, and so like you have never ever seen a guide dog bark ever, and so as soon as you look at it, oh yeah, that's like you would never try and fake a dog being a guide dog. Like that's such a weird thing, but it seems whenever I'm on a plane in the US, there are always dogs here.
It's emotional support dogs, yeah.
But it's like, why would you have them more than us?
Why don't they make guide cats? They're way smaller, take up less space.
Cats are
You
assholes.
can have cats. You can
Cats-
have ducks as well.
A
Emotional
blind-
support
like a
ducks.
blind duck?
Someone wanted an emotional support horse and was trying to fly with it, and the airline was like, "Yeah, I mean, we get that it's your emotional support animal, but also it's a horse. We're not sure we can fly it."
There's barely enough space for the
maybe you don't
corpse.
get to
Didn't
fly
allow a
today.
horse.
Didn't
Maybe
someone
you
get
just
kicked
don't
off
take
of a
this
United flight because they wouldn't allow their peacock on?
I was gonna say,
That's familiar.
I wonder if I could have an
What
emotional
has
support
become of
eagle.
us? What
and be like,
is that?
But what you can't take like could I take a sparrow?
Right. Can you just take
Quite
anything?
difficult to train.
Well, I mean, what if I just had it in a little cage?
There was a peacock and it was United.
Sir, I need to bring my emotional support scorpion on this plane. I will refuse to board. Oh, he's got little gloves.
Oh man.
Those
His
gloves?
nose doesn't hurt his feet.
He's got fingerless gloves.
He's
I
got
think he's got
grippage.
fingerless feet.
Gus, Gus, I gotta explain this. If those are gloves, where are the duck's feet, do you think? Where
Listen,
do you
I mean,
imagine
his wings aren't his arms? Shit. Can he grab things with his
the duck had on little shoes? If you're listening to the audio podcast, and Blaine called them gloves.
It makes me think of that drawing. Like if a dog wore pants, which way would it wear it? Have you ever seen that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. But
Would-
but a dog has 2 arms and 2 legs. A dog does not have 4 legs.
But if you wanted a shoe for your hand, it would still be called a shoe.
Listen, I admit I fucked up. I'm sorry, everybody at home. I'm sorry I called them gloves.
What's more
That was my
interesting
bad.
is where a
Sorry.
Don't be sorry
bird's
for that.
knees are.
Where are they? They're up here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
Because ankles point backwards and knees point forwards. And so most birds that you see, they have a joint halfway up their leg, what appears to be so, that points backwards. And that's actually their ankle. And their knees are all the way up in their body.
So
There you
wait, a cat's ankle is
Look at that.
Oh,
Look at that. That's exactly what I was talking
Wow,
about. Thank you,
weird.
Mark David,
so if I
for
were
making
to
that
shave
lovely
a bird or
description.
take all of its feathers off, would I be able to see those things? Or are they all up internally?
So I think the knee part I think is within the flesh.
Got it.
But obviously the ankle you'll be able to see.
do they ever stand up perfectly straight or do they always have bent knees?
I mean, flamingos have got pretty straight legs.
Is their knee up in their body again?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think so. I'm trying to picture a
My
flamingo
cat's
now.
knee on the back, is that just is that an ankle?
Which way does it point?
Well, they don't really have an ankle part. Yeah, I guess it's an ankle because it's backwards, but they don't have a back knee.
Wait, what?
Get that guy's
Wait, they do have
so
a
you've
back
got
and
a paw.
diagram of a cat up.
Well, okay, so it's paw, right?
Yeah. Paw.
There,
And
then
then
it's
where
like
it joins
back.
the long bit.
Can we get a
then
picture
it-
of a cat?
Can we get a
Paw?
picture of a cat leg? Or just a cat. Just bring us a cat.
A
That'd be
side
good.
view of a cat.
We have
Cat,
loads
cat.
of dogs around this building. Can we get a dog or a cat or some small fluffy animal?
People get. We can't have a cat at work, and it's really annoying.
Why
It
not?
sucks.
Just
We
the
used
dog?
to have one.
Cats.
Oh.
See, that's it. You can
And are
take,
people not allergic to dogs?
that's the other thing too. Is like you can take dogs everywhere in Austin. I can't take a cat because if I take a cat anywhere, then the dogs that are there will all fucking freak
Well, the
out.
cat will murder you if you take a cat out of its house. And you're like,
No,
you
some
put a
cats
cat in a car and then take it somewhere. The cat will murder you.
It depends on the cat. There's some wonderful.
There are some
oh, here
great
we go.
cats.
Okay, so it's an ankle, and then there's a knee higher up.
Yes.
Right.
So what's the bit?
wait, what's the
so
one
what's
on the front?
What's the phalanges got connected
So, like
to?
I said, the legs and the arms are different things.
So it's not a back. It's not a front ankle.
It's not a front leg; it's a front arm.
So it's an
It has-
elbow.
yeah.
Is there a way that I could surgically
It's
put
me.
into my arm working Wolverine claws? Would I have to get a mechanism, or is there a muscle that I could actually like clone?
That's a
grow?
made-up chart you just showed. It said the butt of the cat was called the ischium.
Wait, ischium?
Ischium.
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 There's no
It's-
T in
That's
it.
where you itch them and their butt goes up. You just give them a little scratch and they go.
Oh, I have a question for
Part of
Sally
the
after this.
pelvis.
part.
Does anyone ever wish they had a tail just so they could pop it?
I mean, after I
Pop it.
after I
Like
saw
Knuckles.
Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be great.
I mean, I think more I'd like to have
Do you have a cat? Is that why you're here? Why did Jack appear out of nowhere?
with
What's
a
wrong?
box.
Yeah, I heard we're talking about cats, right?
Yeah.
No, I was
The
talking about
ischium,
Wolverine
right? The
claws.
ischium on the back of the cat?
Yeah, what are you
The
doing?
ischium.
I just walked over because we had Extra Life this week, and I want to thank the community and everyone, and I love you all, and you're amazing.
How much did we raise, Jack?
We raised during the stream, we made our total go up to $1.42 million or something like that.
Hell yeah.
And now we're at like 1.481 because Jeremy did another like 16-hour
I
stream
can't
playing
believe he did
Spyro
that.
He's a
and raised
lunatic.
another like $60,000. So anyway,
Wow.
It was a very fun Extra Life.
it was very fun. Gavin, you and Michael probably had it worse than anyone else. So thank you for sacrificing
I wouldn't have
yourself.
it any other way.
All right. Didn't mean to interrupt. I was walking by. I was like, oh, I should say thank you to the community. And I love you guys.
Love you too.
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
Love
Do you have
you.
a cat?
Blaine did the funniest thing that I've
so
ever
many
seen on
times.
an Extra Life, and no one saw it except for me and Mariel.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
What'd you do?
Go ahead, tell the story.
Blaine was.
What's with this like prison interrogation room lighting on Jack?
Oh, I
What
really
is
like the
that?
backlighting.
Wait,
I'm a
what's
big fan of backlighting. Look at that.
My
Got
key-
it.
Oh,
He's an achievement hoarder.
That's all right. It was during Too Spooky.
Tell us what you know.
It was during. Oh god, it was during Too Spooky. During Too Spooky, Blaine had his skeleton onesie on with a hoodie over the top of that, with another another skull on top of his head, and he was sitting on the couch, kind of like right there. And I was in the couches on the back on my laptop. Mariel was next to me, and I was just checking, checking Twitter and keeping an eye on social. And his phone started ringing. Blaine just picks it up, looks at it, goes spooky, and then hangs up and puts it back down. Wasn't on camera. No one saw him do it. He just did it. And as Mariel and I were the only people who saw it happen, and it was the funniest goddamn thing ever.
It's very
So,
in character.
Yeah. And then it just started ringing. It rang for like the next 40 minutes or so. It was
Whose
incredible.
phone was it?
I don't know.
It was John something. I don't know who.
They're like, your father's dead. What? No.
They're
So-
calling late at night, right? That's
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So there's Blaine made up in his outfit. It was.
Wait, which one are you?
I'm
in the
I'm
red.
the I'm
He's
there.
he's the one that's Blaine and not the other guy.
I'm not the one in the horse head. I'm the one in
you
the
were in the
skeleton.
horse at one point. Though.
Yeah, I did. That was my first
You're the
form.
mutant unicorn.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very, very much, everyone who contributed Extra Life. I want to point out, too, I tweeted about this, but the raffles are still going on. So if you didn't have a chance to donate, you can donate up till December 1st. That's when we're going to end the raffle. So you can check it out, extralife.roosterteeth.com. It has all the raffle information there. I made a journal post about it. And yeah, so you can enter it until December 1st. And I think the merchandise might still be available. I think we might have some left over. So if you want to pick up merchandise, you can.
Does that mean we have to hit 1.5 next year?
Someone actually had a really good idea. So we went from 1 million to 1.25 million. Someone said we should do 1,337,000. So it's elite million. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. So I think that might be our goal next year. Do a super elite. So it's 1,000 elites.
So, every time we get a lead donation, we do something bonkers. Would we just like
When we can.
1,337.
Gavin and
That
Michael, Team Nice
1,337
Dynamite during their segment got
106.
106.
I was
Yeah.
$1,337.
Okay, so what is the importance of this number?
It's
Oh.
the
it's an old internet
It's all
like
internet.
meme thing?
Okay, cool.
Because I sat down and I remember last
better
year I
off not
think we
knowing.
got like 40 something.
Yeah,
And
it
that
was like 40 or 50. It
paintballs.
was even then I was like, holy crap! I think
Yeah.
we got 150 for the entire stream last year.
150 leets?
Yeah, last
So
year.
in my head I was like, I can take 40 moonballs, no worries. And then Lindsay said it was 106.
It was 106. So we split it up 53 for you, 53 for Michael, which honestly, most of them ended up at Michael.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to.
He can
We
take
should
it.
change the subject because I hit Michael perfectly in the balls.
Does not wear a cup?
I don't know.
Yeah, he had a cup on.
under the
I've-
jeans.
but it
I-
was so.
He
didn't
refused the
take- he didn't
cup.
put it on?
Oh my God!
I thought
there you go. Here's the
I-
shot.
I fucked him up.
But yeah,
and-
we're whipping moonballs because they said don't bring it past the edge of the table. I don't think any single person did that. They were
I
all.
watched Alfredo shove his leg against it from the extra distance. But there
Yeah.
was one. There was one where Blaine was looking right at me, and he was pulling it back, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna hit me right in the face." It shot off sideways and hit Michael right in the penis.
I want to see if we can find that.
Yeah, see if they're tracking it
that
down.
bad boy.
But yeah, the moonball wall. That's my favorite new invention we had. And thank you, Waboba. We ended up getting like 500 achievement hunter moonballs.
I would love to have seen like radar speed on some of those moonballs because
Maybe
they
that
felt
part-
like.
Here it is. Here it is.
We'll rent a radar
If
gun.
only there
Is
was
this
someone
it?
in the company who's really good at doing slow motion video.
Oh shit! It was in Singapore. The camera was in Singapore.
Let's see here. Yeah.
We don't.
What is a moonball?
It's a rubber bouncy ball like this
We've
big.
got
It's got
a
like
couple over
different
there.
sides, facets on it. So when you bounce it, it doesn't necessarily bounce straight back up. It kind of has a
Okay.
great
So these
trajectory on
don't
it.
split in any way. These are just
No, they
normal
just-
bouncy balls that you're just pelting yourself.
They just bounce off your flesh
They're pretty
and head.
dense too.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're pretty dense. There's,
Yeah.
there's, there's
Good
some over
bounce
there,
to
right? In
them.
that,
Do you have
in
a
that
ball?
there's some in that
They're around.
kiddie pool over
The-
there.
Probably like a billion out. in the
I saw
parking lot.
some people complaining that they thought the lead siren is distracting, but I thought that's kind of the whole point of it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to really attract your attention and encourage.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, it makes a shout out someone who donated over $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's intentional to call out that someone gave a lot of money to
Exactly.
charity.
Yeah, I mean,
This is what you're getting
$1,300.
hit with.
Well, we had a helmet and the old knob protector on.
And it's funny, like the one weak spot on a person when they have the crotch and the face covered is the knees, and I think you both got nailed right in the
Oh,
knees a couple
yeah.
times.
The most painful areas were my knees and shoulders. Like, that's where I got hit the most.
Hi,
You
guys.
landed on your
But yeah,
face.
throw it. Look, it bounces good.
Yeah, throw it towards broadcast. They love it.
Remember?
Where are the fewest cameras?
It's got a good
Yeah,
bounce to
that's
it.
a good bounce.
So if we got a lead donation,
Yeah,
Remember?
then
What would we do?
what would we do? Yeah, like
I don't know. There's
There
the
you
siren. Okay, sorry.
Whoa.
everyone's got
Anyway,
flashbacks. Like no,
They were on the ball there.
Yeah,
On the
it's pretty
move.
nice. They're quick, they're trained. But anyway, yeah. So next year, I think we're doing elite is going to be our super elite. So 1,000 elite. So we might even keep track of how many elites we have of 1,000 if we can get up to it. I mean, we're not gonna. I don't think we'll do 1,000 elites. If we do, fantastic. But anyway, we're still working on final numbers and stuff. And you have till December 31st of this year to donate. So donate.roosterteeth.com. You can still donate to our team if you care to. Raffle's still available until December 1st. Bunch of really cool stuff in there. And yeah, and that's it.
All for
Thank
the
you.
kids.
All for the kids. All for the kids.
100%.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. Love
Thanks,
you.
Jack.
Bye, Jack.
Bye.
There you go, Gavin.
Of course, Peter Hayes has a slow-mo shot of it.
Oh,
Of
does he?
Michael getting hit in the balls.
And then
Yeah.
another one
Ball.
misses
It
his
was
head.
like a direct hit. But my Wolverine claws, though. Back to the important.
Oh
thing.
yes. Well, there are plenty of tendons here. Like there's the one which what is it? It's if you squeeze it, it causes your fingers to curl in.
Okay.
And that used to be because like animals did have retractable claws, right? And mammals do have retractable claws. So there are probably some spare tendons lying around, not really doing much that
Okay.
you might be able to hook up to.
Like
Kinda
the arm's appendix.
The wisdom teeth thing.
Yeah, exactly.
don't
It's a
use them anymore.
vestigial function.
Gotcha.
Like your tusks.
But I guess I wouldn't be able to regrow my skin back real quick. So that
No,
wouldn't-
no, probably not. You're missing that part of the
Yeah.
equation.
I was getting rubs recently, and
Go on.
On your ischium?
she, not anywhere near my ischium, but she was like pushing on my hand, and then she pushed on this part of my hand, and I was embarrassed because it made me hold her hand,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I didn't mean to do
That
that.
is really
But
embarrassing.
She
Wait,
must,
who did this?
the masseuse.
Okay, so you went to a
Because
professional.
there aren't
Good,
any
Meg, giving you
muscles
rubs?
in your fingers.
There's no muscles in your fingers.
No.
They're all higher up,
Yeah.
They just
Oh.
tug
and
on.
everything else is tendons. So if you've ever seen like a robotic arm and it's got like a little cord and then a motor that pulls the cord,
Mm,
that's exactly how our own hands work.
There was a
clever.
fascinating thread on Reddit, and it was directed to people who I guess had cochlear implants and
Mhm.
could now hear, but spent most of their life not being able to hear.
Mhm.
Cloacal implants.
No, not
Cochlear.
Cochlear implants.
Yeah, my friend was one of the first in the UK to get a cochlear implant.
really.
Yeah, we made a video about her.
Those videos make me bawl my eyes out every fucking times.
Mhm.
So you knew her pre and post?
No,
implant?
she got an implant when she was 3 from meningitis.
Okay.
But she was at university with me, and so she was completely deaf from meningitis.
Mhm.
Was one of the very first. So we tried to recreate what she can hear, and it's super distorted.
Yeah.
Like imagine white noise mixed with a robot sound. That's
God.
kind of all what voice sounds like.
Sounds
to
like
her.
Terminator 2? Or?
I've not seen it, but
Okay.
probably.
Don't spoil
And
it.
so she was told that she'd never really be able to learn or amount to much, and she's just finished her doctorate.
Oh, good for her.
Get
So
in there.
yeah,
Show
she's
them.
doing great.
Dr. What's her name?
Willis.
Implant Willis.
Mhm.
No, they didn't name her implant.
Oh.
She changed her name.
She was the
To
first one in
implant.
England, so I thought she
One of the first, yeah.
got knighted.
But it's mad because they actually
Doctor
cut
implant.
open the skull and insert wires in, and then there's the hearing part, the microphone, and then there's a magnetic bit that sticks on that then transfers it through the skull.
Are we gonna have like robot eyes someday? you think?
Yeah, sure.
When's that happening?
50 years.
Could I get one willingly? Could I just be like, I want to give my eyes to because I have shit eyes. I'm wearing contacts right now. Could I get like red robot eyes?
Why red?
Red?
Because I want to look like a Terminator.
Why would you want to get rid of your existing eyes and not have a third robotic eye?
Yeah, you can get.
So that you'd have extra function.
Why wouldn't you get rid of like your
Worthless
legs
penis.
from the knee down and just get prosthetic limbs? Because
Oh,
now they have those to where people can actually run faster.
I work hard on my calves. There's a
Yeah.
flex on it.
Do you
It's right-
think
it's right by
there's-
you.
is there anything that would help John Rising's sniffs? Is there like a new smell thing you can shove in?
His
Yeah.
sniffs.
He can't
What?
smell.
You can't smell.
He has like anosmia.
Which, by the way, that's
Ooh,
my
that's exciting.
version of a best friend because I can fart around him all the time, and he's just like.
but he
I don't
still
know.
has to suck up your poo particles.
That's not. He doesn't
Blaine.
care. He doesn't seem to be bothered by
Well,
it.
he doesn't
Just
know he's
fly.
doing it. Get it? Let's see how. Look.
Just gonna land around my
do it. Yeah, that was
It's not
close.
the right type of fly.
Revenge
I'm
for
not used to
Michael.
its flight pattern.
Let me.
But
Anyway.
What's that
but
flight
the thread on Reddit, it was fascinating what people thought things sounded like until they heard them, or things they thought had sound.
Yes, got it.
Whoa!
Is it really?
She's a doctor. Doctor
Look
Fly
at that.
Can we
Killer
get a
coming this
zoom in on
summer.
that, please?
Dr.
Camera
Fly
3.
Kevorkian.
Now no
I
one
don't
can
know if
say
we'll be
you
able
wouldn't
to zoom
hurt
on
a
that.
fly.
Oh, I have hurt so many flies. In the acknowledgement of my thesis, I
That's
say,
the longest the focal length can go.
I say thank you to there you go, beauty guru, and this fly is best for the skin. No, at the beginning of my acknowledgements, I say many flies were harmed in the making of this thesis. I thank them for their sacrifice.
And then the doctor's gonna read that and they'll be like, "Hey, she's got a sense of humor. Let's make her a doctor."
Yeah, exactly.
So
Do you
what was
think
the
that'll be
most
banned one
surprising
day?
thing?
They call her Dr. Jokey because they give everybody a nickname. Apparently, when they get a doctor,
That's not a nickname. It's their legal
Doctor
name.
Implant, Dr. Jokey.
I'm Dr. Beelzebub because I'm Lord of the Flies.
Is that what
That's
Beelzebub
what
is?
Beelzebub means.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How a great name is that? I know now. Everyone is singing Bohemian Rhapsody around the world.
I am.
You're saying something about implants. earlier.
No. The Reddit thread. The stuff that people thought made noise didn't. But the one that was the most fascinating to me was someone who their entire life thought the sun made noise. That it was they just associated with it being like a dull, steady roar. And they were amazed that the sun doesn't make any noise. And there was a few people who thought that in different ways because without the sensation of hearing, you feel the sun.
Yeah.
So you just kind of think. And they thought they were amazed that the sun didn't make a different noise on pavement versus on grass. And it's just like, what does that even mean? But it's like, I kind of get it at the same
Yeah.
time.
I
I mean,
wonder
it
as
is
well-
photons like smashing into stuff.
Or it's like you feel it. Like you feel the difference when you step on the grass. It absorbs some of the heat. Pavement reflects it more.
Sun makes
So-
noise. Sun makes noise.
We don't hear
Not,
it.
it
We don't hear it on Earth, but sun makes noise. Come on. Sun makes
Well, where are you listening to shit?
I don't
You're
know.
listening
If you go to
everything
space,
you listen
the
to
sun-
is on Earth.
Wait, there's
but it has
no.
space to
air,
still
there's no
also
sound to
doesn't
travel,
make noise.
Blaine. How do you hear it?
sun makes noise. There's like explosions and shit happening. The
Well,
thing's
if
on
you was-
fire. It's got to sound like.
But
If you were stood
But
inside
it
it, maybe.
can't leave the sun.
It still makes noise though, right? You know, like. Sun makes noise, right?
Another person did. Another.
Okay,
Sun isn't completely
let's
quiet.
frame it
Yeah,
the
it's
other way.
very loud, Blaine.
Sunlight does not make noise.
Okay.
But does
Well,
the sun
agree.
make noise? I mean, it does.
I mean, yeah, if you were to have a fusion reaction on Earth, it would probably make noise.
Imagine
you
though.
maybe had air in which to vibrate and everything.
Imagine the most sensitive stethoscope.
There
If,
it is.
if you had it and it could pick
Dr.
up sort of
Jokey guy.
any movement, maybe you would hear the light.
No.
Doesn't it
Try
make
it.
any weight at all on anything?
No, it's by definition massless. Photon?
Even on like the nano pico super scale?
this
No.
It's completely
pico?
weightless?
this
Alright.
episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is also brought to you by
Or the
You,
moon.
you
Or the Moon.
may have inadvertently revealed something from our industry before anybody else knew about it.
What's that?
Couple of weeks ago, we were talking about
Oh.
Break,
Mhm.
and you went on and looked up Break's original domain, bigboys.com. Remember Big Boys, Gav?
Yeah.
You were on the podcast?
Yeah.
And then Gus said, oh, the domain for Big Boys lapsed. And he bought the domain, and now Gus is the owner of this historically important domain.
I'm a big boy.
Bigboys.com.
I think the word important there is relative.
Historically important to the
Yeah.
internet.
I think
like
so.
It
online
was a big
video.
site. But
It's
more
like
importantly,
E-Bombs
it
World.
was an asset of Break, which Break combined with Alloy Digital, a company that owns Smosh and Clever, and they became Defy Media. Defy Media, essentially, I don't know if I'm using the right words here, but they shut down, right? They declared that they were going away. And I was wondering, how the hell did they let this Big Boys domain lapse? And now that might have been an indication before the fact that Defy Media was about to go through this upheaval.
I feel like, and also it sounds from Ian and people like Smosh were kind of taken off guard by that.
Yeah, they didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure they had indications that there were problems, but yeah, that was.
But that's a huge thing to happen.
Smosh is a fucking huge brand. If you ever look at any videos about who was number one on YouTube, and right now we're going through PewDiePie and T-Series are like battling it out for number one. But if you look at historically on YouTube of like Ryan Higa, Fred, I'm trying to think who some of the early like
Fred,
number ones were.
Annoying Orange, was he ever number one?
It was close, but in all those rankings, like in the top 2 or 3, Smosh is always right there, like always right there, and it's crazy. It's I think they're trying to find a new home for Smosh, and they got a really funny group over there.
Oh, let's get it.
What's that?
What?
You want to go get Smosh? But yeah, I was fascinated. It's been a very interesting few years in online video where it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of people left, from those big.
Sorry, we've all been doing PhD theses. That's the problem.
But the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you say that, but
Just
also,
wait till 2019.
Sally stopped her
Then I'll be
channel.
back. 2019, I will be back with a vengeance.
It's so soon.
I see
know.
Sally all the time. I see Sally more than y'all do, I think. I see her at VidCon almost every year. Did I see a VidCon this last year?
No. I've only been to 2 VidCons, one in Amsterdam, one in Anaheim.
So I see her twice as much.
You
as
see
you.
her way more often than us.
one time more than everyone
And
else.
actually, I don't think you've been on as many podcasts with me as the others. I think you're often away, right?
I've been on like 3 with you.
Am I
Yeah.
really? I always say I gotta say you're holding up well. I was really disappointed to find out that Chris wasn't here today because Chris and Sally to me are such a great pairing. But you're
Yes.
doing an admirable job of
He is here, but
of filling in for
I'm glad
Chris.
you'd rather have Chris here.
No, I'm saying it's more insulting for me to say that you're doing a great job filling in for Chris
Oh,
because your third nipple and your no hair on your areola
And his Wolverine claw
And your Wolverine
desire and his
claws.
third eye.
I think I fucked up this weekend. Sunday
Did you
was
bite Eddie in the head.
no. I
Who
think
did
a
that?
What was
zombie
that
did that.
about?
I don't know what that
I
was.
think it was during a Krav Maga class and somebody accidentally
Someone
bit him.
bit him?
I'd assume. It was Sunday after Extra Life, and I was like really, I had a bunch of gross stuff in me because we had been drinking and stuff like that from Extra Life. So I decided to go to the sauna and sweat it out. So I went to the
Not
sauna.
a thing. Doesn't
I was
work.
going to say that's not a
No?
thing, right?
The way everyone, this is how you do a detox. Ready?
You don't?
1, own a liver. 2, own a kidney. Preferably 2 kidneys. You are now detoxing.
Oh, okay.
Drink water.
Nope, just
You gotta get rid of it though. You gotta get the.
I mean, you're gonna need to drink water just to stay alive. You don't need to drink extra water just to detox.
How much water should I drink? You're a doctor now. You gotta answer this question. How much water should a person drink?
As much as you're not thirsty.
Don't say metric stuff. Okay. Good. All right.
Drink until you're no longer
That's it.
thirsty.
It's 8 glasses. That's all BS, right?
Well, the 8 glasses thing doesn't account for the amount of water that you take in with your food,
Which is too much.
which is
It's too much. It's a lot of food.
yeah.
It's a lot of water.
So,
Well,
I
what
mean,
you
it
do
depends
is
on
you
how
lot of
food-
food. That's a lot of
all
water.
of your meals from the day into a big jug of water, displace it all out, pull all your food out,
Then eat it.
and then drink what's left.
What if I eat
Yeah.
exclusively beef jerky? That's it.
Or soup. Can you put beef jerky in
Soup's
soup?
got water in it, dummy.
I know. That's why. You
That's
have to
the
drink
point.
less water then.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying if I eat,
The
if
more
I just eat
soup you
beef jerky,
eat, the less water you need to drink.
Yeah.
Why
The
soup?
more beef
It's all
jerky
water.
as a replacement for other meals you eat, the more water you have to drink.
correct.
What
Because
if
then
I
don't get any water
chug-
for the beef jerky?
What if I chug a salt shaker?
You will throw up.
Can you get salt poisoning?
Probably. You can get poisoning from anything.
It's
You can get water
electrolyte.
poisoning.
Yeah.
You
It's
can get
sodium.
oxygen poisoning.
Haircut poisoning.
Well, anyways,
yeah,
I went to-
it'll make your ankles swell.
I went to sauna because I felt really gross
Mhm.
and my
'Cause of
and
placebo.
it gives me a placebo effect, thinking I'm going to feel better.
Mhm.
And that was before my workout to get warmed
Mhm.
up because it's cold out. So then I
Mhm.
went and I climbed, and then I went and I lifted, and then I went back and I went back to the sauna. And I was like, yeah, I'll spend another like
Everyone else
8.
just slept.
8
He's
to
doing
10
like
minutes.
18 different things.
And I took my water in there and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna minimize my time, gonna get a nice good sweat going, and then I'm gonna leave.
He's gonna minimize.
Minimize.
Yeah.
Fuck me. And I got into what I assume is like Gus's nightmare situation because I was about to leave, and this guy came in, and he started talking to me, and I didn't want to leave because he was talking to me
Oh,
in the
God,
sauna,
such a
and
Gus moment.
and he
Mhm.
was just, and he kept going, and there was never like a stop in the conversation to where I was just like sitting there, and I lost track of time, and I was sweating so badly, and I started to get woozy, but
Oh,
this guy
God.
was still talking to me, and we we're talking about Austin and like film and like film incentives, and like after a while I started like kind of like losing track of what we were talking about, and I was like, well, I've had enough time here. I'm gonna go, and I like
God.
stumbled out,
Oh
and I
my
made it to
God.
a shower. But I was like, I almost fucking died from a conversation.
You almost died
God.
from awkwardness. Yeah.
So I recently had to sign up for a service, and I never like to say what services I have online because I just don't want that out there.
I mean, it does make it sound a bit dodgy if you don't.
No, I had to.
Can you not just substitute a service and say it could
It was for a,
pretend?
no, but then they'll know I'm not. They'll know it's not that one, and they'll find the other one. That's,
So how many porn websites are we talking
it's
here?
a business service. I had to do a business filing for a business service, and I had to use an aspect of business communication that is antiquated.
Excel.
Red tube.
So I had to get a fax service.
YouPorn.
What? Shut up. I need a fax service because I had to
Soup.
do something with tax. So I signed up for a fax service where I can send and receive faxes via email.
You
Facsimiles.
can just do that for free.
You can just go and ask Jeeves.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why aren't
For
you telling the
facts.
person who requires this fax thing from you to do one?
The government.
Oh,
There you go. There you go.
Government.
So you just got deported. But I then said I had to sign up for this fax service. And I went to the one that I remembered from 1998. And Gus goes, oh, yeah, I have an account with them still. And I said, yeah, but it costs money every month. And I can cancel within the first 30 days. And Gus goes, yeah, I just have it just in case. Here's why Gus has it. I went to cancel it during the 30-day period. You can't cancel it online. You have to call in and talk to somebody. That's why you've paid $10 a month for 20 years, isn't it? Because you don't want to talk to somebody on
Well,
the
that
fucking phone.
helps.
That is a
That's
lot of
so
money.
much money.
I've sent a few
Not-
faxes.
It's only
Gus.
$10 at a time, though.
Gus, can
It's a slow
I
trickle.
call them on your behalf and then you pay me $10 a month for 20 years?
I'll pay
That's
you
why you have
$5
the
a month.
service, isn't it?
Still, I'm happy
That'd
for
be a
that.
great occupation.
Makes
You just
60
be
bucks a
a
year.
counselor, and
Yeah.
they just pay you,
What
but
they
way
would
less.
have paid.
Could
No,
you use
you
that
got-
Google Assistant to do it? Like the one that makes phone calls on your behalf?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you know how to get out of the, when you try and cancel a service, especially if it's entertainment, they're like, we'll give you 3 months free, or we'll give you this and this.
Just
Do
keep
you know
on
the way
yellow.
to skip all that? You just say, I'm leaving the country.
Yeah.
And then they immediately go, okay, we'll turn off.
Oh.
Yeah,
it
I say
skips.
I'm moving out of your service area.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it-
it just skips all the stuff. If you just,
I can't do that with an online fax service, though.
And the way to get out of a conversation you don't want to be in is to interrupt yourself so that you don't seem rude. So in the bit of the conversation where you're the one talking, you say, and so you're so, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was working out some real hard weights at the gym, but yeah, I'm so sorry, I've got to dash now, but it was so lovely talking to you. So you're not interrupting them to say, I'm sorry, I need to go. You're interrupting yourself to say, I'm sorry.
so
I
you
need
just
to go."
spew like 10 seconds of nonsense, interrupt it, you're the good guy.
Exactly.
I wasn't.
awesome.
I wasn't able to think that hard. I was not.
You were
You're
dying.
fully
Passing out.
dehydrated
Yeah.
and getting heat stroke.
I had a weird thing happen to me over the weekend where I thought
Did you poop and pee out of the same hole?
I pooped and peed out of the same hole.
Cool.
That is weird.
I thought I was going blind for a little while.
I've had that.
I've had
Were
that.
your eyes shut?
Maybe. But no, I was out in public and I had a thing where I was looking at something and I felt like I had just stared at a bright light and like I couldn't see very well in like a very specific portion of my field of vision. And like no matter where I would look, it was persistent. And it seemed over time like it was growing and moving in my field of vision and there was like this bigger area I couldn't see.
Oh, bullshit. You were not out in public.
Can I tell the story?
Go ahead.
So then I start trying to figure out whether or not I need to go to the hospital. And so I start Googling, and it's this thing that people call an ocular migraine, where it's a migraine that just affects your vision.
I've
but
had one.
You don't actually have.
When you
a
shut your
headache.
eyes, could you see it?
No, I
can
don't
see
think
mine.
so.
It starts off as like a rainbow crack. It's the best way I can describe
Yeah, that's
it.
the best way to say.
Wait.
Oh, I don't get auras in my migraines.
Oh yeah, and
the worst.
I got one probably about the same age that Gus is now, and I've had two since then too.
What's a rainbow crack?
I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like
It's a
I saw this visual
perturbation.
representation of it.
It's a unicorn's
And
butthole.
It kind of made sense.
mine was more
Wow.
vertical. Like it was like it almost looked like you remember those old posters you'd look at and you'd stare at it long enough and they'd turn 3D.
Yeah.
But they're all just a bunch of dots.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was also kind of like a weird like rainbow
was yours like
static
that?
to it. Yeah, mine was like that.
Oh, that's awful.
It just
Oh.
slowly grew and took over.
Looks
That's
like
the
a-
Rainbow Bridge of Valhalla.
It looks like a feather boa.
Different ends of the scale. No, I just want to see Thor in a feather boa,
I
please.
just love Blaine's Nordic accent. Rainbow Bridge of Valhalla.
I've been having, I think I've mentioned this before because I was having it on planes. I'm now having it at home. I'm having the most boring dreams where I dream about
You know what the
what-
most boring dream is? The one that people tell you about?
Ooh, shit.
Sorry, do carry on.
Are dreams real?
Fuck.
my dreams are now I will dream about my side table from the angle that my head is.
I had a super fucking
I'm
boring
just
dream,
lying.
too.
Is it out about
I'm
body
lying in,
experience?
no, I'm lying in bed and I'm just staring at my lamp and my alarm
Yeah.
clock from the side, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm putting my hand in front of my vision. I can't see it, so it's like I'm just dreaming about what's on the other side of my
You're
eyelids,
lucid about dreaming about
and
your
it
lamppost?
keeps happening. I keep dreaming about just the. Oh,
It's
is
a
it
waste
good?
of time.
No, yeah.
If you roll over in your dream, does your perspective change?
I can't ever move it. But when I wake up, because it always wakes me up, because I'm like, I'm dreaming about the nightstand
best
again.
thing
I
is,
wake
though,
up and I'm looking at it. And
It's
it's
when
like,
people tell you about their dreams. They're like, "Oh my god, it was so amazing." I was like,
Yeah.
"Here's," but yours is so boring.
it just makes
It's
these
amazing.
transparent. But I dream about it
That's
perfectly.
that's the opposite of what you want.
Yeah. And the only thing that is wrong is that the time is never right. Like either the time is missing or it's just something else and it doesn't seem out of place. And then I wake
I
up and
think
I'm like,
you've convinced
God.
yourself that you can't read in dreams, and everyone else can, and you think it's a thing that indicates that you're dreaming.
Can you dream?
It's like your
reading
brain-
dreams?
They say that you can't read in
I
dreams.
I've
I
read in
know
dreams.
I've read in my dreams.
because some stuff plot wise is like, oh, I read this thing.
It's funny though, because I've had this recently too. Like I had a dream that I was organizing the drawers in my kitchen, and it felt like it
It's
went on.
so boring.
It went
and
on for
old.
like an hour. It went on
Jesus.
forever, and I woke up and I was like, "What?"
Like your mind is free to do anything. You have the whole world, anything you can imagine. And you're looking at a fucking nightstand next to your bed, and you're in your kitchen.
It must be.
Organizing drawers.
We just. Yeah, there was a guy I watch on YouTube. He's called Halo Completionist. He just does everything, all the achievements in Master Chief Collection and stuff. And he tweeted that he had a dream that he came up with this really cool new strat for like a lasso run in a Halo level. And then when he woke up, it didn't work and the level was completely fictional. At least he's dreaming about like what he's doing. What am I doing with my life that I dream about a table?
I don't know.
I
I was trying to understand a mathematical statistical model, and I found the original paper. It's like, this idea came to me in a fever dream. It's like, well, Christ, how am I supposed to understand it then? The guy literally dreamt up this commonly used statistical model, and it works. But it's like, how on earth am I meant to understand what it's doing?
Oh, look, she's
God.
Gavin, you should look into the nightstand. Maybe there's something important in the nightstand.
Maybe there's something in the
Wait, wait,
drawer.
wait, wait, wait,
that I
Chris
need.
is over there.
Oh, there's
Chris!
Chris Damaris. Do you want to go?
Maybe,
You want to come on the post show?
Let's get him on the post show.
Yeah. So, while we're on the topic of things,
What?
I shouldn't even mention this.
Oh, did you have like a weird dick thing or something?
No, close.
You fought you.
Did you fax your dick to the government?
No, I broke my fucking iPhone. I got my iPhone wet and it fucking died. And I bought another iPhone. I did because I just bought this stupid
we're
fucking
trapped.
watch. And if I switch now away from the iPhone, then I gotta give up the watch. The watch literally won't do shit except tell time.
Is that
It
your
sounds
phone?
weird when I say it out loud, but
How'd you break your phone?
how'd I break my phone? Here's how I broke my phone. I was on a trip. I took that trip I was telling you about, the trip that I took, I was on a trip. So I had my phone in my pocket. I got hit by a wave, and the wave got my pocket wet, and my phone died. My waterproof iPhone X fucking died.
You mean,
And then everyone
so wait, let me just translate that. I had my phone in my pocket and walked into the sea.
Well, it's close to this. Yeah, it's
The
pretty
sea
right.
walked into you.
Yeah,
by the
look,
sound of
it was like we don't no fault in this. We don't want to blame
But
the
it-
sea.
but
I
it's
looked up
water-
I looked up on Google iPhone 10 waterproof, and the autocomplete question is, can iPhone 10 waterproof?
Can it?
Well, you know the Samsungs can.
Yes, the iPhone 10 is designed to be waterproof up to 1 meter or approximately 3 feet.
How much water?
It's rated
hit you?
What?
IP67, meaning it's completely dust resistant and water resistant
You must
when
have-
submerged at a depth of 1 meter or less.
You must have had an already broken phone because
That's
what?
what they asked me at the store. They're like, "Did you already break it?" I'm like, "No, look at it. It's fine."
Can iPhone 10 waterproof?
Can iPhone
Yes,
10?
iPhone 10
no,
can
it
waterproof.
can't. And everybody on fucking Twitter was saying, "You dumbass, it's not waterproof. It's water resistant." What the fuck does that mean? If it doesn't resist water, how is it water resistant?
Because
It depends on the amount of pressure of water
Yes.
pushing into it.
So
submersion.
all that says to me is it's not waterproof. They just want to put
Well, no,
something that
because-
implies
Well, don't drop it in
it's
the
waterproof.
sea.
So if you can put something like with 1 centimeter of water above it, it is still waterproof.
That's metric, and you've lost me.
Okay,
immediately.
3 feet.
half an inch.
3 feet of water.
Bit of a
Is it half an
difference.
inch?
Well, meter.
Just under. So if something can have a small film of water on it and still work, that is water resistant and waterproof, you could say, but it will be called water resistant.
That's like IP456.
If it can then have 1 meter above it, sorry, if it can then have 3 and a bit feet above it
3
of
and a bit
water, it's even
A yard.
more waterproof. if it can have 30 feet above it of water, it's even more waterproof. So there are different degrees of
The
waterproofing.
All I
bigger
know
the
is-
number, the more waterproof.
They have this watch, and I was in the water with the watch the entire time. They got a 2-hour press conference with who's the shitty guy who took over after Steve Jobs?
Tim Cook?
That guy. What a
What's
fucking dick.
shitty about Tim
He's
Cook?
terrible.
Did you see Johnny Ive designed a diamond ring?
No.
The whole,
Oh, what does it look
the
like?
whole thing, the 2-hour press conference about taking the thing swimming. There's all these swimming features in it.
Yeah.
And it says water resistant for this, and it says water resistant for the phone, but it didn't work. Anyway, I'm actually
most
not that
people,
upset.
when
I'm way more upset with myself for having to buy a fucking iPhone. I'm fucking trapped. I'm in a hostage situation here. I cannot get away from these
Well,
phones.
stop buying the product. Stop buying the watch. Stop buying the phone. Stop buying
I gotta
the
stop
MacBook.
at some point.
Don't you hate it when you've got money to spend on iPhones?
I had a payment plan. I had to pay off like $300 on my old phone, and then I do it. They give it to you like they just take the payments and they push them out. It's 0%. So why not do it, right?
They take it and they push it out.
Do you know Red makes a phone?
Yeah. The
yeah.
hydrogen?
Yeah,
Is it any good?
that's it.
Like the
Imagine
camera?
the camera's pretty good, right?
You don't want a first-gen phone from anyone.
I don't think so either. I feel
I don't
like
know anything about it. It's got to have problems.
Let's wrap this up.
I feel like I did that with my car. Okay, well, I just want to say too, because people keep asking me about it. I wasn't on Extra Life because I did this trip that I booked a long time ago, but I didn't mention the trip before Extra Life because I didn't want to tell people, A, that I was going to be out of town. I don't like telling people when I'm going to be out of town for 10 days and away from my house. But I also didn't want to say that I wasn't going to be at Extra Life and start this thing of like, you know, this negative thing before Extra Life. So I just
So
didn't say anything
do it
about it
after.
beforehand. Yeah. Ashley did the same thing. Ashley, people have been asking about this as well. Ashley left the No like a month ago, right?
Something like that.
Now it's been 3 weeks ago. About 3 weeks ago?
Nah,
About
it
3
was
weeks?
more than that.
I think a month ago, I think. Patrick, what do you know? You're just the boss. But yeah, she left, but she didn't want to make like a big video or a big send off for her leaving the No because she didn't want to affect the thing that she'd been working on for 4 years.
So we made one for her.
Yeah.
Yay.
So she just didn't want to do that. But she's coming back to work on, at least the plan is, she's coming back to work on Game Time as it turns into like the Rooster Teeth channel's gaming podcast again, essentially. But it won't be a podcast and it won't be a Let's Play. It'll be something in between the two. So
I like the sound of that.
it should be good.
Every time we've done like Let's Play stuff, that's one of my favorite content to participate in.
Dude, I had a blast with November's.
Good month, right?
That was fun. That was fun. The
All right.
Blackout one just came out on first.
Wrap it up. We'll see you all in the post show.
Remember,
Oh,